Well, guys, here we are. We're about to do this Cyraxx deep dive, Cyraxx's horrifying history, full documentary by Turkey Tom. I don't know where, whatever. Not getting up again now. A while ago, people asked me to take a look at this guy, and I looked at him for less than 5 minutes, and it was overwhelming. It was overwhelming, and so I opted to not. I just decided to move on. But since somebody sent me this, and it's probably pretty well put together, so I guess we'll engage with this. This is going to be a rabbit hole. So let's get this party started.
We need to fucking talk about something, man. You've gone...
Damn. I already feel like people should just leave this guy alone. Just looking at him. Okay.
Too far. And I mean too fucking far. It's one
This guy's giving me the Wolfpack vibe from TikTok. You know what I'm talking about?
thing to attack me. It's one thing to troll me. It's one thing to make a haha joke very fucking funny. Oh, we had your shit, blah, blah, funny shit. This isn't a game, Marty. You're fucking with people's lives here, you sick fuck.
Damn, who's Marty, dude? All right.
Some people get the short end of the stick when it comes to genetics, and not all of them deal with it gracefully. Sure, congenital issues can account for some shortcomings, but how many?
Well, usually, listen. I feel like there's some people who maybe just shouldn't necessarily go on the internet. You know what I mean? That's all I'd say.
Many. When does someone cross the line, and despite their defects, when can they be held accountable for their actions? A case study of this.
I mean, you could always hold them accountable. I don't know what this guy's individual problems are. You always hold people accountable for their actions, but if they have some kind of an issue, like usually a mental issue, then you would address that in some kind of a punishment. We always take these things into consideration when it comes to punishment and try to, like, if they need to be some form of institutionalized. You know, I wouldn't doubt this guy has that. So it's a matter for the police, if it's a matter for the police, really.
This gray area is Ohio's very own Cyraxx, often referred to as the dollar store Christian or Asmongold's long-lost twin. Over the course of a decade, Cyraxx has gone from an aspiring musician to trying to stay out of jail for things like abusing his grandmother and sending some very unfortunate messages to people who definitely shouldn't have received them. So in today's video, I aim to answer the question, who the hell is Cyraxx?
I don't know what that means. All right, go.
Not a bad dancer, though, I guess. So you can get that one.
Like many other lolcows, Cyraxx didn't just come about in a vacuum. If anything, he is the closest we've ever come to a purebred lolcow. Born Patrick Smith on September 20th, 1990, Cyraxx claims he was born at just 26 weeks, weighing only 1 pound and 12 ounces.
Is that real? He was born at 26 weeks? That's terrible. Wow. I wonder if that's had an impact on him. Jesus. Okay. Gotcha.
With only 1 kidney and 1.5 lungs, and with 1 blind, lazy eye. At least in part, this is because his mother, Connie Lobdell, was herself challenged to some extent. Cyraxx's grandmother, Sally, claimed she was fully disabled, although it's unclear what that means, while his father described her as someone with ADHD and another unnamed condition.
I feel like, I mean, maybe super severe ADHD. I don't know. I have ADHD. I don't think I didn't have this issue.
Specified that it took him 3 years to teach her how to drive a car, which suggests some degree of intellectual limitation. Many speculate he suffers from fetal alcohol syndrome, though due to Connie's potentially impaired condition, there's hardly any way to hold her accountable for that. His father, on the other hand, is a very different story. In 1994, Rupel Mark Smith, the original legal...
Yeah, does he have an actual mental or some kind of a, condition? Because if not, I wonder if there could be a conversation about him taking advantage of her. I wonder.
The name of Cyraxx Sr. was arrested. While accounts on this vary, with Cyraxx himself saying his father went to jail the day he was born, the records available put his arrest at when Cyraxx would have been 3 or 4 years old. On July 26, a 14-year-old girl was raped by an unknown man who chased her off a bike path for around 50 feet. According to a person who identified as the unnamed victim, he'd already been stalking her prior to the assault, which meant it was premeditated and suggestive that he'd probably done something like this before. She gave a detailed description of her attacker and his blue 10-speed bike to the police, who prepared a composite sketch. When presented with photo lineups, the victim picked Rupel out of both of them. The sketch was then published in the local newspaper and ended up being seen by Rupel himself just 2 days after the attack. Fortunately, the intellectual acumen of the Smith lineage was already being exhibited, as Rupel decided to call the police himself and identify himself as extremely similar to the man depicted, only to say he wasn't responsible and had an alibi. Regardless, this was enough for the person taking his call to report him to their supervisor, leading an officer to be sent to where Rupel was residing. Upon arriving at the residence...
Well, yeah, I mean, they should investigate, even if it wasn't him, although I guess I don't know if we'll find out if it was.
The blue 10-speed bike was seen, an exact match for the one that was at the crime scene. Once the officer became more accusatory...
Damn, wouldn't you want to at least hide the bike? I mean, it's a good thing that you don't, because obviously they seem to have done it, but...
toward RuPaul, his responses were incriminating. Apparently, while he didn't outright confess to the assault, he said something tantamount to an admission of kidnapping, dragging the victim across the road against her will. After that, RuPaul asked for an attorney, but what he said at that point was enough for an arrest and trial, during which a jury convicted him of kidnapping, sexual assault, and sexual abuse of a minor. He attempted to appeal his convictions, but ultimately failed and had to serve a total of 20 years in prison. This is relevant because it meant that, with RuPaul out of the picture due to his arrest, and Connie being unfit to care for a child due to her disability, someone else would have to raise Cyrax.
Doesn't it bring up an interesting question about what you should do to people who do that kind of thing? Like, you know, doing that to a kid, or even doing it in general. Because I remember for a long time, my perspective was if somebody did that, you should send them to an island. Right? You know what I mean? But then I remember looking at something saying that there's like a country, I forget what it is, but they have so really strict laws, but they don't put people to death. And the reason is because if they said, like, if you do put somebody to death that does, let's say, abuse a child, then that incentivizes them to kill the child first. And it's like, oh, Jesus, like, what a thought, you know? It's just interesting to think about, like, what's the overall best for society? You know, because you could potentially be hurting more kids. But then again, they do deserve it, but not the kids. Okay. Just an interesting conversation, interesting thing to ponder.
That someone ended up being his grandmother, Sally, who moved Patrick out of Alaska and into her humble home in Akron, Ohio. Oddly enough, Sally had been in a strangely similar situation to that of RuPaul's, only on the receiving end. As we can learn from an article in a local Alaskan newspaper, RuPaul's father, and Sally's first husband, is a man named William Bill Smith, born in 1941. According to public records, Sally was born in 1952, and RuPaul was born in 1969, meaning she was 17 when she had him and just 14 when she got married to Bill, who was 25 years old, the exact same age RuPaul had been when he committed his crime. What's worse is that RuPaul had older siblings, though records on how many are difficult to find. We know that at least one of them was also named Bill, who ended up simultaneously suffering from...
So did they get married? That's fucking just... the history is weird, bro. It's fucking full of old men marrying young girls. It's fucking disgusting.
AIDS and cancer until he passed away in 2015. Just so you know, when I say Cyrax is a purebred lolcow, I mean generations of extremely unfortunate circumstances have coalesced to bring him forth. Via newspaper clippings of one of Sally's brother's obituary, we can determine her maiden name is Arntzen. But when she took Cyrax in to raise him, she was married to another man named Gordon Wilkins and took his last name, so she decided to rename Cyrax accordingly, calling him by the name he went on to use for the entirety of his life.
Well, I'm assuming maybe that there's an insurance purpose there. I don't...
This is James Finley Wilkins talking to Nicholas Beagler. What you fail to realize, Nick,
is that Nicholas DiOrio, or who's that?
is that I made you.
From Patrick Smith to Chance Wilkins, from Alaska to Ohio, Cyrax wasn't even 5 and was already undergoing some radical transformations. In his recollection, he had a very rough time at school, with people bullying him and giving him swirlies due to his appearance.
I was supposed to die the day that I was born. And when I was born with 1 kidney and 1.5 lungs. And, you know, growing up through school, you know, I did get picked up.
How terrible, though. But I mean, personally, if I was born like that, I think I wouldn't want to be born. You know, like that's a tough conversation to have. I think that I would have been okay if my mother said, "Not this one." You know, sad stuff.
I got bullied way more than most. I got judged, you know, I got beat up every day. I was that kid that was an outcast in high school.
But as we will learn in full detail, Chance isn't an entirely reliable narrator, since contrary to his claims, it seems he did.
I was making a little bit of a joke about them maybe being trans, but okay.
Indeed have friends during his school years. In an interview with Elspeth, a friend of Cyrax's from high school, she said,
well, I'm sure he had friends, but I wouldn't doubt that he got beat up as well. I mean, this is like the unfortunate reality of like this bully pipeline. Like, yeah, people who are identified as, you know, more vulnerable tend to get bullied more. It's a terrible thing. Bullying really is never okay. You never should bully anybody. But if you do think about it from a practical perspective, it does make sense. Just think about this, okay? And this is never do this. This is a terrible thing. But look at it like this. Let's say you're a guy or a person and you're competing to be the top of the class. You know, you're competing to be at the top of the class, and there's 50 people, we'll say, and you study or do whatever you have to do to go rise up, whatever. If you bully the other kids as you're on your rise, that reduces their confidence and brings them down. So not only are you doing better for yourself personally, but you're lowering the curve of difficulty for you to succeed in that group, because now they're less confident, they're more anxious, they have more anxiety, they have less of the ability to study or do whatever they need to do. And on top of that, it's cathartic for you. So that's why you should never bully. That's why bullying's bad, okay? Don't do it, dude. Because it's unfortunate, but if you look at the data, people who were bullies in like high school tend to outperform the people they bullied. Like it's an unfortunate reality. It's an unfortunate reality of the world.
We met quite literally in high school. We had a mutual friend in common. And that's how we met.
According to Elspeth, Chance and his group of friends bonded over their interest in dancing, so much so that she herself is a trained ballet dancer. She recalls an instance where they both performed a piece called The Dueling Dancers at the school's talent show, but unfortunately there's no footage of this event. When they weren't at school, they usually met up and hung out at the house of their aforementioned friend, Billy Seiler. Billy was a short, legally blind African-American student, and Cyrax described him as a closer friend than the rest of the group. After all, Billy was the one who introduced him to Linkin Park.
I guess it's like the Rocky movie. You guys remember that old Rocky movie? Cher was in it. He dated a blind girl because he wasn't particularly very handsome. I wonder if it's like that.
One of Cyrax's favorite bands. Months before any of his followers investigated Cyrax's story with Billy, Cyrax spontaneously brought it up, saying,
Unfortunately, when I was 16 to 17 years old around that time period, I was actually by one of my...
He was what?
17 years old around that time period. I was actually... by one of my best friends from high school. Now, at the time, I didn't know that he was gay. I had actually met this kid. His name was Billy Seiler.
You didn't know, like, while he was... Never mind.
We had gone to the same high school together, and me and him grew really, really close. We were super cool with each other.
This is...
Like, listen, I don't know if this story is true or not, but one thing I would say is that, like... I don't know, man. You're gonna come out about your story about how you were taken advantage of, maybe sometimes it's okay to say somebody took advantage of me and not be explicit about how it was. Because now you're opening yourself up to scrutiny on your story, and now people are gonna be like, well, we have to investigate this, because now you're not just telling your story about some potential trauma that happened to you. You know, now you're outing somebody else. So now it's becomes like a bigger deal to have to investigate, but
This is quite a claim to make, especially to bring it up as lightly as Cyrax did. This was enough to rouse suspicion, but as time went on, the situation only worsened. In another retelling, Cyrax mentioned that his family spoke to the school about what Billy supposedly did to him, and the school responded by kicking Cyrax out so it wouldn't happen again.
They know what Billy did. That's why they removed me from that school, so it didn't happen to me again.
Though this isn't impossible, it sounds unlikely that the victim of such a circumstance would be the one getting kicked out of the school. Worse,
I don't know. It's possible only because, the school might want to cover it up. I'm not saying it did happen, but I wouldn't doubt that a school would try to cover something up like this.
yet was the fact that Cyrax originally claimed to have been 16 or 17
Is that what it is? Cyrax did everything to him? Interesting.
when this took place, but he only changed high schools after 2009, when he would have been 19, meaning the time frame doesn't really add up. This discrepancy was confirmed by Cyrax himself, who later changed it and said that, while Billy was underage, he himself was not.
Cyrax, how are you not so pissed, though, at that school? Like, I think it's insane. You should have never been expelled.
We tried, and that's the thing. That's the thing. We tried to fight it, but due to the fact that he was underage and I was over it.
Oh my god, dude. I don't understand that. That's fucking bullshit.
People became
That's a little weird.
suspicious, and since Cyrax had already given this person's name out, they decided to look further into it. The information was enough to find Billy's Facebook and contact him, informing him of what Cyrax claimed happened during high school. Once contact was established, what Cyrax allegedly did to Billy became a matter of public knowledge.
So we were up in my room, it was late at night, probably 12, 1 o'clock on a weekday. When it gets hot, guys tend to take off their shirts and everything. I was either on my
Okay, maybe.
belly on the floor, or I think I was searching for something, and
Did he ever give the explicit details of how he was supposedly assaulted? The other Cyrax.
the next thing I know, and at this point, I had never given any type of consent whatsoever.
This
So what is it that happened? I kind of need to know what happened. I'm wondering what it is.
all but confirmed in the eyes of many that at the ripe age of either 18 or 19 years old, Cyrax had assaulted a disabled minor. What a great way to start the story. We have little to no information.
I'm going to here, just to be clear, I'm assuming that they're both around the same age. That doesn't make it okay. I'm just saying I wouldn't doubt that he did it. I'm wondering, well, what is the specific story? Is there a way to find out? Like how much of like an assault is it? Like, is it like he entered him, or you know what I mean? Like, I understand why they're censoring it because it's for copyright, or excuse me, copyright. For the sake of censoring it, but is there so it doesn't get demonetized? But like, what happened specifically? Like, well, maybe I'll try to look it up.
On what else Chance was up to during the 2000s, but we do know what his family was up to. His mother, Connie, remarried in 2002 and was living with a man named Michael, but just a few years later in 2007, she tragically passed away while using a wood stove that didn't have proper piping, and because of this, it resulted in a house fire. Perhaps adding
If you want to look at a blind Billy story, Okay, I'll try to look it up.
The tragedy was the fact that she passed away on Cyrax's 17th birthday. A little over a year
Billy was younger and Cyrax was 18. Yeah, how old was Billy? Is there like an age in that one?
later, the house Sally was living
I
in
was just assuming that they're around the same. It doesn't change the fact that if he did actually assault him, then he did assault him. But Cyrax tells a story about struggle cuddling with a blind kid. Is that what it is? I mean, I don't want to watch like a whole entire hour-long thing. Okay.
Chance was broken into, though there's no way to know if the perpetrator was ever found. In late 2009 to early 2010, Cyrax created his first ever YouTube channel, but it was nothing to write home about besides a few AMVs he made with freeware, and definitely stole from other people's content.
What's weird, though, is that he claims that the guy assaulted him, even though he apparently was the one who forcefully... Is it cuddling? I'm trying to look up like a written text that's explicit, that's not like vague, about what happened.
While doing so. The years of 2010 and 2011 were mostly uneventful, though Cyrax made a few Facebook posts that contributed to the notion that he wasn't as bullied as he said he was, since he had multiple girlfriends during this period. He also shows us funny...
There's no way that this guy had multiple fucking girlfriends. If he had multiple girlfriends when he was young and I didn't, I'm fucking... There's no point for me to even be around anymore. Jesus Christ, dude.
...side with jokes such as, Santa, ho ho ho, me. Damn,
Just look at the chat. What is to look at in the chat? You said that he R-worded him. That doesn't mean anything to me. Like, I understand that's bad. I need to know the specifics. If you think that's a specific thing, you're a silly goose. I'm looking for the explicitly what it is, what he did. I'm trying to read that. Okay, I'm just curious about the specifics of the situation. Like, I'm usually curious about the details. So stop telling me you're giving me details when you're not.
And has 3 hoes? What a man whore. One at a time, and they better get paid extra. You so fat and old, nasty. It's only in 2012 that things get intense with Cyrax abusing his grandmother, Sally. In a document retrieved via the Freedom of Information Act, because, yes, his followers are that dedicated, we have information on every time the police have been called in relation to Cyrax's house. And on the 14th of February, a domestic fight was reported by Sally's brother, William Arn.
So why the fuck haven't they put him in jail? Like, I don't understand, why don't they put him in jail and take him off the street? This is one of the problems with people with disabilities, because this guy's clearly struggling with a lot, but is that they don't take them as seriously. Like, look at Christian. Like, Christian shouldn't be allowed to see their mother anymore. But they got out. But they should be like institutionalized in some capacity. I mean, maybe they are, but I don't think so. Like, they should be put in at least a group home setting with like much higher levels of support. At the very least. So how is there a history of abuse and like physical sexual abuse, and this person is not at least in like a higher support facility for them since they're disabled?
Chance is described as out of control and fighting with his mom before leaving the house and walking toward the freeway. It appears he attempted to choke or strangle his grandmother, but fortunately the report cites no injuries and no weapons. To this day, we don't know what exactly this was about or what happened, but we do
Jesus Christ.
Have this mugshot to make up for it. In 2012, we have the first significant bouts of online activity from Cyrax, who at this time went under the name of DJ Shadowblade, which he misspelled a variety of ways. One of these early
and no internet would also be ideal. Yeah, for sure. That's probably beneficial too.
Manifestations was his war cry.
Because they're poor? Well, who cares if they're poor? It's nothing to do with the level of support that they should be getting. Yeah.
Supposedly, this was him beating Chester Bennington's record of longest scream. Though what Chance did here hardly qualifies as a scream, more of I don't know. Sounds like me when the drive-thru takes longer than 3 minutes. A year later, despite being a whopping 23 years...
Like the White Castle drive-thru is actually insane. I love White Castle food. They have these brand new Sloppy Joe White Castles. There's like 3 different types. They're honestly delicious. But I get so enraged going there because I'll pull up with a line, and I expect the line to take a while. And I remember last time I went there when there was a line of, I think it was 7 cars. I was in line for about 15 minutes, and the line hadn't even moved up 1 person, so I left. And it's like, dude, I love the food is good, but it's like, fucking figure this out. This shouldn't take that long. And then I went back, I think later that night to get food, and I ordered my food, and I pulled up and I waited at the window, and I was waiting for like 20 minutes for my food. Why? Why is it taking so long to make fucking food? I mean, I understand I went there at night the second time, but the first time I was during the day, like, it's not. I don't think it's the employee's fault because I went to a different White Castle. I'm pretty sure it's the infrastructure that they've created doesn't value speed. So group homes aren't free. I mean, I'm pretty sure you get government funding for group home. This is the thing. It depends on the state that they're in. In my state, you don't have to pay for your group home necessarily. Like, you don't really pay for your group home. The government gives money to the group home to support you. Okay, so that's the type of support I'm talking about. I'm also talking about jail support as well. So that's the point that I'm saying.
Years old and still in high school. We have a couple of videos from this time period. It's longer than 3 minutes. A year later, despite being a whopping 23 years old and still in high school, we have a couple.
How the fuck are you still in high school? I thought that they had like a rule for how long you're allowed to be in high school after you're like. I thought you couldn't be in there beyond like a few years.
Of videos from this time period wherein he's doing basic parkour moves like handstands and wall jumps. Cyraxx claimed he had a GPA that was just a couple of points short of 4.0 and was at the top of his class, but they didn't allow him to graduate because
he's certainly old enough to be top of his class.
He didn't have a perfect 4.0 GPA and was too ugly to graduate, so he eventually got kicked out of the school altogether. Another claim of his was
I'm sorry, that's not funny. Really claim that? Holy fuck.
That in this school, he was also severely bullied to the point where a bunch of students pushed him from a balcony. This, too, appears to be a lie, as explained.
I mean, I believe that he was bullied, but pushed from, like, a balcony? Like, wouldn't he die? There's no, because his body couldn't handle it. If I fell from a balcony, I think I could survive. But I don't know if he could, you know?
By his aunt, who gave an interview explaining what had happened.
It was lunchtime, and these kids dared him that he couldn't jump something from the balcony.
The backflip. Okay, hold on. I had a question about this. After certain head injuries, like people fucking have dramatic personality changes at times. Do you feel like after the fucking head injury, like
what head injury? He didn't hit his head.
He smacked his head off. He was like on the second floor when he did the backflip. It was like off the second floor.
He didn't hit his head. He landed on his side and broke his arm.
You see, in order to cover up from having taken a dare and stupidly jumping off of a balcony, he made up a fake story about the other kids having pushed him off of it. He went as far as lying to the police and actually accusing the other students of having done it, but when it turned out that he was—
Damn, this guy seems to get back. This guy, it seems like this person gets into a constant feedback loop of doing something wrong and bad, and then some kind of an institution, whether maybe it's his parents or the police or even the school, don't do enough about it, and he interprets that as getting away with it and like a defense, and so now he's in a feedback loop of doing whatever he wants without consequence. I'm saying, like, I can be sympathetic to the fact that he has like a disability, but there needs to be, and frankly, it's probably not helpful that there's an entire, online lolcow network covering everything that he does. But that being said, I also doubt it's to the area where, he's getting riled up like Daniel Larson. Because again, Daniel Larson, another person who's not a particularly good person that needs to be, taken off the street. And I feel like the trolling for him, at least, is worse because it's causing like real life people to get hurt. But anyway, the point that I'm making is that this is a failure of the institution for letting him out or not giving him enough consequences, or getting away with the bad things that he does. I mean, this is a huge problem because you just get like a feedback loop that's like, oh, I guess what I'm doing is okay because I'm getting away with it.
Was lying, he was promptly expelled from the school, and his GPA being below 1 probably didn't help. In his later videos, he enjoyed telling this story as the source of his inexplicable talent, as if hitting his head on the concrete, which he didn't do since he landed on his side, made him into a musician. As is proven by his very own early uploads, this is a lie since he was already in the music grind, and particularly in the juggalo scene as early as 2012. One of his earliest uploads still up on the internet has him long—
I really don't understand why there is such a, why all these people want to be musicians. I don't get it.
Wittedly complaining about how strict and rule-oriented the juggalo community was. This is most likely due to the fact that Cyraxx only feigned to be a juggalo in order to be a part of the community and find friends, but had no idea what being a juggalo was about, didn't listen to ICP or any artists related to them, and this was eventually proven by juggalos who decided to quiz him on his ICP knowledge.
So I was just curious, what album?
And they had like whole juggalo purists, must take that real seriously.
What was your first album that you got into the clowns?
Believe it or not, dude, it was probably, I'm trying to think. I want to say either Jekyll Brothers or Riddlebox. I can't remember which one it was that got me in.
So what did the cover look like?
Really,
I don't know. In his defense on that one, does anybody really know what the cover of albums look like anymore? Don't we all just listen to it on like the computer? Don't we all just, yeah, like on your phone? Do you know what the cover of the albums look like? I don't know if I can do anything about that. I couldn't answer that question.
Dude, do you know how many years it's been since I've listened to that shit?
Still, it didn't prevent him from claiming he was in the family in the past decade.
He does look like a juggalo. Take that as insultingly as you want, I'm just saying.
How dysfunctional do you have to be in order to struggle to meet the criteria for a juggalo? The only community with lower standards than theirs is probably furries. No offense, just saying. While very little has been archived from this era due to how frequently Cyraxx deletes everything he has online, only to make a new account with a different name the following day, judging from his very old and empty LinkedIn page, he claims to be a part of a juggalo record label called Killa Clown Sounds ever since May of 2009. As we can learn from his Facebook, his only prior occupations were abstract artist and painter at C. Wilkins Art, and soldier's son. Given RuPaul's state of affairs, it's clear this is talking about Sally's husband at the time, Gordon Wilkins, who gave Chance his last name. Once again, deferring to his
the guy that sexually assaulted somebody. That's who we're talking about. Well, I mean, he's a soldier, so I guess it's expected. Sorry.
Facebook post, he claimed to have dropped his first album, Blood on My Hands, in 2010 under the name of Kid Darkness. It looks like his sister was responsible for getting him into contact with the owner of the label, Eric Scrubalo, who signed Cyrax out of pity. A little later on, it seems Chance also did a brief stint as a Christian rock artist, and if this poster is anything resembling genuine, he performed somewhere. I really wish we had footage of this stuff.
Who the fuck is he supposed to be on this? This person? Who is he supposed to be? The bald guy, I guess.
But in compensation, we have Cyrax expressing his religious fervor and his
Those are two different people? Bro, I'm already confused about the lore, dude, when it comes to the dads. There's too many different dads, dude. Oh, his actual biological okay, got you.
Unique fashion. I swear,
okay,
man,
relax,
I wish I could give that no good Satan and his demons a piece of my fist and foot in their mouths and shut them up for good. In a comment he left under this post, he also seems to believe that God killed the devil at some point. I'm not sure if that's in the Bible or if it's in his headcanon, but for a man as devoted to—
I mean, it's just as likely to be real as it not. The army guy is his step-grandpa, so he's not the rapist. Gotcha. The rapist is his biological father. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Sorry, guys.
To Cyrax, I won't be the one to cast doubt on his theological knowledge. In another post from this time, he lamented his lack of success in the music industry, saying, "My name is Chance Wilkins. I'm 21 years old, with my mom working 2 days a week waiting tables in a little restaurant, and it's still not being enough to fully get by on bills, and me going through many hardships in life. I decided to do something to help all that. So
you get a job, you know? You could probably do something. You know, maybe the mail room or something. Maybe not the female room, but the mail room. Okay.
Decided to get into music, and many people have judged me because I auto-tune my real voice to make it sound better, but I don't care. I still keep going, and I always will. I don't ask for much. I just ask for my dream to come true so I can help my family." Kind of a sweet message, actually. It must have been really stressful to carry his family on his back, since it's during this period that he begins developing his infamous skullet. He was convinced he was going to get paid up to $5,000 and that he'd be in every music magazine, but unfortunately this never happened.
I wonder if there were a couple trolls that were like, "Hey, you can do..." I fucking hate it. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Has this person ever done something to like abuse their internet fame before, I wonder?
Even before people were actively trolling him with fake promises of fame and fortune for his music, Cyrax proves to truly be one of a kind, as he tricks himself into these delusions for no reason without any outside interference. Another of his uploads from 20—
Well, listen, I don't know him specifically, but I mean, to say that he tricks himself into delusions, I think is just like kind of an ignorant statement. There's a different way that people, that struggle with some kind of a mental disability, interpret the real world events. I don't know if it's possible that they trick themselves into it. It's also possible that they actually believe in that there's a level of delusion associated with it. I wouldn't go directly into saying that they tricked themselves into it. So just to be clear, because I don't think that that's necessarily an accurate statement, but okay.
12 is a video called Inside the Shadows, which has Cyrax giving an unrequested tour of his house to his non-existent audience. It's very aptly named since the lighting is horrid and you can barely make out what he's trying to show you. While the majority of content this early is completely lost and most likely rotting in the cursed confines of Cyrax's hard drive, we do have an archive song he worked on. Given his slurring drawl is nowhere to be heard during the track, and the beat sounds like if you converted a brain hemorrhage into an MP3, we can presume he was the producer. Check it out for yourself.
Party, 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 party.
Smell of it. Smell of it. In August, he claimed he was working on an album with fellow juggalo rapper Spitfire the Twisted Killer, who doesn't seem to actually exist. In early 2012, it appears he either was or wanted to be involved with
All I know about one of the juggalos is that they have a channel with their furry daughter, and it's very cute. One of the juggalo dads. I saw a TikTok from them a while ago, and it was like a very cute message. Violent J from ICP supports his furry daughter. I thought it was just nice. It's not crazy. I'm not going to watch it on here. But it was a fun thing.
I hear your brain talking to itself about how cool my mask is. Because this mask was made with quality. This mask...
Yeah.
All right, Rube. All right. They get it. That's tapped. All right.
It's a funny video. I'm going to put it in the description. You can watch it yourself. I recommend giving it a watch. It's very funny.
Girl named Hannah, as we can see in a post of his where he apologizes to her for some unspecified wrongdoings of his and performatively says she's the reason he didn't do something drastic the night prior. This appeal wouldn't stick though, and a while later, he not only starts dating but supposedly gets engaged to a new girl named Heather, who appears to also be very into juggalo culture and works on music.
And My Little Pony, dude, you can't forget that. I remember when I was younger, I watched a My Little Pony documentary, and as I was watching it, I ended up taking it. It seemed like everybody had autism. That was one of the common themes. So I took a test online and it said I had it too. And then I'm like, maybe I would watch My Little Pony. But I don't know if I could be associated with the people who watch it. because I remember watching that whole thing where a bunch of guys went to the My Little Pony thing, and they were like, "Oh, aren't there sexual undertones?" You remember that weird video? Aren't there sexual undertones where the Twilight Sparkle or whatever wants to fuck this? And I was like, damn. You know, the story might be good, but I can't allow myself to get into this.
Music with Cyraxx under the name of Shadowcat Hashlet. The names are so fire. And another music.
99 cents. First time being born. I love you, SM Boogie.
Incredible stuff. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I am Boogie2988, and I am the Mr. Rogers of the neighborhood.
Related post, Cyraxx posted what he calls lyrics, but given it was decently formatted and didn't have a typo in every other word, it's obviously a ripped poem from a guy called Mark Slaughter, which we know because he forgot to take out the copyright notice at the bottom. It's clear he was very invested.
Hey, at least he credited the guy, huh? Maybe that was his whole thing. He was just doing a cover song, okay?
In his juggalo phase, but didn't know exactly how to express it. For example, in one post where he
Bro, I'm sorry. I thought this was him when he was a kid. That's fucking crazy.
shared a picture of a little girl with progeria, his way of being nice to her was saying he considers her a juggalette. But music wasn't the only artistic venue of Cyraxx, as in late 2012, he announced he was working on a manga series called Spectorbs, which was going to release in early to mid 2013, which
I would just say, why not work on working at Walmart? You know, off the internet. Work on being a Walmart employee. You know, maybe you could hook up with Gail Lewis and get a real fucking job or something, yeah.
did not happen. As time progresses, Chance becomes increasingly erratic. Perhaps because he learned the absolute basics of how to make music, they gave him an unrequited ego boost he had no idea how to handle. But early signs of the behavior he eventually became very well known for also started to show. We have this early 2013 clip of him addressing someone who apparently insulted one of his friends.
Talking all this crap and shit. This guy seems to think I'm hiding behind words, but I'm not. You hear that, Aaron? I'm not hiding behind anything, little man. You want a little man? Look at you. You're nothing but a punk-ass baby. Hiding behind his own damn words, is too afraid to stand up to me like a real man.
Anyone with decent online experience knows there's no greater waste of time than engaging in keyboard warriorism. Not to mention,
I'm sure he doesn't understand that. It's so fucked up, but there's like this, there's like these other people on the internet. I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the wolf pack people, and their whole entire thing is to pretend they're part of a wolf pack and like arm wrestle to see who is the main dog or whatever it is. And then be like tough to the camera, you know? You kind of just can't do that if you want a serious career. But I doubt that there's a, you know, guy. I guess there's probably not an understanding of that. If anything, the fantasy probably makes him feel good about himself. Of like, oh, you're talking shit, fuck you, and talking all that. You know what I mean? It's probably almost cathartic for him. I don't think that's one of the things about people with disabilities. Sometimes is that they may not necessarily have the same relationship with self-awareness as of the rest of us. You can make them a little more confident in doing some things, you know. It's incredible stuff sometimes, you know what I mean?
and the fact that people who are belligerent
yeah,
online
alpha.
tend to be trolled.
They're alphas. My bad, dude. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That you stand nothing to gain from interacting with. But obviously, this is hard to explain to Cyraxx. However, where a typical person sees a waste of time, Chance sees an opportunity to act like he's a WWE wrestler whose gimmick is talk.
I was thinking it, dude. Bro, I don't know what it is about people with disabilities in WWE, but they fucking love it. I don't know why, but it's insane.
Like he just came out of a sludge puddle in the middle of a trailer park. From the get-go, it's very clear he gets a kick out of making threats of violence and pretending he can beat up people or kill them. Still, no matter how unlikable he gets, he keeps finding his way into new girlfriends, and by 2013, we finally get to see the face.
Like, are we confirmed these girlfriends too? There's no fucking way that my entire chat is a bunch of fucking virgins and this guy is slanging. This is no way. Also, how old is she?
Of Heather. Her first appearance is in a video he published on the very first day of 2013, where he announces he's abandoning the juggalo lifestyle, but emphasizes he's still a part of the family.
Like, we're not going to stop being friends with any of the juggalos, and that if you guys still want to be friends, that's cool, but we just dropped the lifestyle.
Exactly. We didn't drop the family itself. It's the lifestyle itself that we dropped.
Chance is very keen on giving himself an air of
what the fuck is a juggalo lifestyle? Like, how hardcore is this shit? I don't get it.
Sophistication and seems to very consciously imitate the kind of statements and manner of speech that actual artists exhibit during interviews, as if mimicking the way they talk is an effective way to become famous himself. Anthropologically speaking, it's fascinating to see a guy act out what is tantamount to a cargo cult of these celebrities he follows in real time. A little while later, Chance publishes another video, this time apologizing for having thrown the dog tags from his record label, Kill a Clown Sounds, into a lake.
When we did the whole thing with the dog tags, it's because we were pissed off. We didn't know what the hell to do.
What the fuck is a dog? What is this happening here?
We were only doing like my mom wanted us to do. She came up with the idea to throw them into the lake, and at the time it seemed like a good idea. And honestly, we regret it, man.
Once again, I have to give some special attention to the cinematography. First off, if you pay close attention, the sad song from the ending of early Naruto episodes is playing in the background to accentuate the emotion of Cyraxx's apology. Secondly, he also
nothing screams genuinity like putting on a sad song in the back.
has Heather ominously hovering around in the background to back him up, probably because he thinks having his girlfriend present makes him look cooler and legitimizes the things he says. He also
listen, I feel like a lot of the people that are obsessed with this guy probably don't have girlfriends. So it's a sad thought to think that he's cooler than you. Not necessarily Turkey Tom, but then a lot of people that cover this guy. I'm not saying that you shouldn't cover him. I'm just saying, isn't that sad? This guy got a fucking girlfriend, dude. You don't? I would spend all your time more productively trying to get pussy than, doing this. Just personally. I'm just saying. It's food for thought. That's all I'm saying, dude. It's a little bit of food for thought, okay?
Subtly blames Sally for giving him the idea of throwing the dog tags into the lake, as if he had no choice but to follow her advice. Not only does he neglect to mention why exactly they threw it in the first place, but he claims he's family with Eric and that he's the only reason they made it this far, despite the fact that Cyrax has not made it anywhere, let alone somewhere far from his starting point of literally living in his grandmother's basement. Chance nonchalantly moved on from the situation and resumed his typical posting, with gems such as his live stream wherein he schizophrenically plays the piano and calls it classical composition. Mwah, beautiful.
I mean, it does sound as good as any classical music, let's be honest. Classical music is fucking dog shit, so...
However, much later down the timeline, people decided to look further into Cyrax's departure from Scrubbalow's label, only to discover what he was actually dropped for.
I've known him for close to maybe 10 years. And to be honest with you, in the beginning, I felt bad for the guy. And he was trying to be a DJ, and I'm like, okay, man, well, I kind of feel bad for you. If you listen to my songs, you'll hear me shout out to
super chatted $5. Cybergrind, 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 cybergrind.
All right, I'll skip with the rest of that. It's cybergrind like 40 times. Thank you. Listen, not to be rude, but his girlfriends are low C tier. Now I'm not exactly stressed about it, bro. Where's yours? You could easily pull a low C tier girlfriend. Why don't you have one? I'm just saying, dude. Confidence is key, clearly.
Yeah, he goes by Cyrax now.
Yeah, that was stolen from me. I was going to release an album called the Cyrax Complex.
Wait, was that the music?
Goes by Cyrax now.
I kind of feel bad for you.
Oh,
if you listen to my songs, you hear me shout out to Blade.
Yeah, he goes by Cyrax now.
Yeah, that was stolen from me. I was going to release an album called the Cyrax Complex. He used to go by Virus, which was also stolen from me. I don't know, man. He stole like 10 of my songs.
Jesus Christ. He just steals everything, right?
Yeah.
Besides these events, 2013 was a remarkably vacant year for Cyrax, especially in regard to his social media activity. His Facebook has just a couple of posts. Apparently, after his departure from Killa Clown Sounds, he was then a member of another music group called Redcon 1. The last honorable mention of 2013 is another police report of a fight which Sally called in, though it took place much later in the year and we have no way of discovering what it was about. In 2014, we have relatively few actual posts on his Facebook, but plenty of changes to his profile and background pictures, with doozies such as this Second Life character, with some kind of lyrics to the side, and what seems to be—
Looks kind of like Sephiroth. Looks like a little bit like Asmongold. Just kidding.
A superhero character created by Chance called Red Phoenix. He also uses one of those free Yu-Gi-Oh card making websites to make cards for a bunch of new metal and emo bands. And while he continued to be associated with Redcon, he now titled himself as an anime illustrator and author for a series called Rinmaru Highlander, which doesn't exist. In one of his few archive posts from this time period, he claims to be an American soldier, which is something he adopted on account of his adoptive father, Gordon, as he was retired from being in the military. In May of that year, he began a new video series called Gamer Madness Monthly, which he never continues. In his first episode, he announces he will be working on a horror game called Possessions that will—
This guy's just doing a little bit of everything, huh? What the fuck is Cybergrind? Man, this guy's like a jack of all trades, master of none.
somehow simultaneously play like Resident Evil, Call of Duty, and Halo. In the same time frame, he posts another video complaining about the zero tolerance laws on fighting. I'm actually not sure what he's talking about here, but the gist of it is he's lecturing the then President Barack Obama on why the law needs to be changed so that people can defend themselves. I think this is a case of Cyrax
What the fuck is he talking about?
trying to chime in on a political topic, but misinterpreting what he was trying to talk about. This is very rich, since were it not for the fact that he was so visibly challenged, Sally could have charged him with assault for trying to choke her out a couple of years prior. A few months of silence go by, and finally—
I probably should have. In jail. A little accountability.
we get to hear what Cyrax sounds like when he's rapping. As you can see from the cover, this was a song done in collaboration with an unnamed third party in a group called Underground Assassins, and I'm guessing this other guy is responsible for the new metal screaming that shows up for a few seconds in the middle of the track. What's also noticeable is the creative liberties Cyrax takes, such as saying the gamer word every other line, sometimes more than once in a single line. Not that we should have a problem with that, considering Cyrax is from the hood and he does represent. His vocals seem sped up to fit in the track, which is strange because they still aren't anywhere in the vicinity of being on time. And it should also be noted that once again, this is all done over a Linkin Park beat. On the same day the track went up, Cyrax also uploaded the first—
I mean, you really can't beat a good Linkin Park beat. You know what I mean? But, oh, come on, dude. I was so close.
episode of a new series called Underground Show, and surprising absolutely no one, it's the same as all of his other shows where he just kind of films himself with a handheld camera in a dark basement. Besides showing the art pieces he had made out of what looks like plastic beads, he explains that his intention with this series in particular is to review things from the 90s or even before, from TV shows to video games. A few days later, he dropped a cover of the Linkin Park song Burn It Down, except he does grindcore type vocals instead of actually singing it. A Juggalo song was uploaded as well, but the vocals don't sound like Chance and the beat sounds too normal to be one of his, but it is mysteriously pitched up, so maybe that's his contribution to the track. 2015 rolls around, and the first half of the year is pretty much silent on his end, perhaps because in April of that year, Chance got involved in a physical altercation that resulted in him being slammed against a stop sign and allegedly hurting his back so bad he required emergency services to pick him up. It's unknown whether he ended up spending time in a hospital due to his injuries, but getting beat up definitely deflated his ego.
My wife said I've been watching TikToks of guys meeting the guys they've been playing games with for 10 years and that they've never met in person, and it's so sweet. That doubtful. Online nerds meeting for the first time? What are you trying to do? Stop school shootings by actually getting young men friends? Ew, gross.
As during this period, there are no talks about beating people up coming from Chance. In a Facebook post made months after, he resented the police for not catching and arresting the man who beat him, as well as claiming the incident misaligned his spine and caused him to live in a continuous state of pain, despite the doctors who checked.
Where does, I mean, listen, that might be true, I don't know, but where do all the lies come from? Like, I guess I answered it before. He gets like this weird feedback loop for lying, like positive feedback loop for lying. It's just fucking bizarre.
Him out saying nothing was broken. By October, he had once again taken up the mantle of professional music producer, selling beats he had made for $1 a pop. Quite the steal. However, probably because none of the beats sold, he became quite upset and considered giving up on music altogether, saying, "I hate to say this, but my work as a music artist is done. I know I'm gonna upset and piss a lot of you off, but the music world is not where I belong anymore. I don't have the talent I used to have, and I'm sorry for those of you who I'm going to upset with this post, but my future lies in doing my artwork. As of this moment, I am done with music for good. Again, I'm truly sorry for those of you I'm going to make mad and upset, but please..."
We lost a legend, dude. We lost a legend.
Try to understand my point. His grandmother chimed in to say that the reason he was upset was that he got judged for his music, but a much more likely explanation is that Chance is a very low attention span and doesn't seem capable of committing himself to something over a super long period of time. Proof of this is that he doesn't even commit to giving.
Proof of this is that he doesn't, I don't think he graduated school. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's an ADHD thing too. I think that's part of ADHD is like stopping and starting a bunch of projects and not like being impulsive and not committing.
Yeah, as just a few months later, he was publicly considering remaking a previous album of his, which, by the way, doesn't seem like it was ever properly made in the first place. In November, he attempted to play League of Legends, only to discover that going AFK during a match gets you suspended. Fortunately for him, his intro...
Bro, that would have incited a riot in my house. Let me tell you, I used to play League and I would get so toxic, bro. I was so toxic. I stopped playing the game because I was just upset. You know what I mean? I used up my gamer word quota for my entire lifetime playing that game. You know, but I would get angry about fucking everything, dude. That shit's fucking crazy.
Interest in League of Legends was still not enough to prevent him from somehow getting yet another girlfriend, a girl named May, though judging from her Facebook URL, that was probably just an avatar name. Onlookers are continually amazed by the fact that Cyrax is able to pull these girls, and honestly, I don't really know how he does it. I guess he just has Riz like that. After all, if we acknowledge his home state... Never mind. In November, Sally made 2 calls to the police to acknowledge his home state. Never mind. In November, Sally made 2 calls to the police to report a suspicious black vehicle parked outside their home, but there's no way of knowing what this was about. Meanwhile, Chance is up to his usual shenanigans as a little while later, a tragedy takes place in the city of Akron. A man named Zach Hussein is shot in a pizza parlor, prompting Chance to make a plethora of posts calling the man his brother and good friend, although there's no evidence he even knew this guy. Most likely, Cyrax is trying to ride the coattails of the news, so much so that his way of mourning Mr.
Hey, he's like a typical, he's typical content creator at that point, just trying to ride the fucking cloud, dude. He's learning. He can make an OnlyFans with all the lies that seem to be weirdly acceptable in the community of OnlyFans makers. It's weird how they lie a lot. Weird lies like that last one with that guy, with the stalker guy. I think that was a fake. At first, I thought that guy was lying, but then I looked it up, and you can't donate $30,000 on OnlyFans in one sitting. I think you can only do like $200 maximum a day. So.
Hussein was to start making custom car designs in what looks like Second Life, with the guy's face and name plastered all over them, no less. He went as far as to open a Facebook page called ZNC Customs, with the ZNC standing for Zach and Chance, and it's very likely there was no approval whatsoever for this to be done. Like, and with this wonderful image as his profile picture, we closed 2015 off as the calm before the storm. In January of 2016, he announced the creation of an anime-style punk metal band, and just a day later, he said he would be developing a video game for mobile devices. On the exact same day, he took it back in another post.
Pretty sure that's very difficult. Specifically mobile devices, I think it might be harder than regular ones. I might be wrong.
Saying, I have some saddening news. I know many of you were looking forward to me bringing back a few games, but due to the stress level of the programs, I am making them into a manga, which will be released within the next few months. I am deeply and terribly sorry for the upset this may cause for some of you, but I feel—
Is there a Cyrax medallion that I could shove into my asshole? Is there one of those too?
As if making them into mangas will be much easier for me to do and less stressful. It's becoming needless to say, but neither the mobile games nor the mangas were ever made. Also on the same day, he puts up a post for the sale of a thumb drive for $50 via PayPal, containing 40 custom art pieces, 10 custom 3D car designs, and 10 unreleased instrumentals of his. And if you want an idea of what these art pieces are, when they aren't stolen from other people, they are the product of presets and automated designs, such as these lovely vases he was showcasing a little while later. Likewise, the instrumentals he makes are all using software that automatically structures a beat. A few days later, he began selling custom anime art for $5, presumably when this manic period of hyperproductivity.
I mean, this could be Cyrax's time to shine because AI exists and everything. If when you AI something, like it doesn't need to be unique anymore. You know, like you could just make fucking AI make this. You know, you don't have to do goddamn thing anymore. Anybody could be a fucking musician nowadays. It's crazy. It's kind of scary too if you think about it.
Died down, Cyrax settled back into a melancholic, depressive state, as on February 7th, he mourns his absence of a girlfriend, a lolcow classic. Why can't I be happy with a wonderful girl who loves me for me and won't hurt me or use me, then throw me away? All I want is to be happy. Is that too much to ask for? To be happy with a girl who doesn't drink, smoke, or do any drugs, and will stand by my side no matter what?
You sound like a fucking dork, dude. Oh, it doesn't drink or smoke or do drugs. Cringe. Get a fucking real girlfriend that does all those things. An absolute fucking legend. Real woman. Trying to get this in there. It's not gonna be good.
Is that really too much to ask for? The no drinking, no drugs caveat is truly reminiscent of the GOAT Chris Chan's attraction sign, but the comments reveal that Cyrax is indeed a fake cell, as a girl named Michelle Nicole Kingsbury says, "You are not single. I'm yours, ain't I? I thought I've been yours since like October."
Is that real or is that like a online troll? What is that?
Cyrax thought it wise not to respond to these fake cell allegations though. Seriously now, it's almost as if he has a child's idea of what having a girlfriend means, and is sufficiently pleased by just calling someone that and being done with it. So much so that he's even forgotten someone had actually agreed to be his girlfriend already. His businessman persona takes the wheel again, this time advertising his pottery pieces with what looks to be poorly rendered 3D Celtic rune patterns. Once again, he didn't sell a single one, and I doubt that he could actually even get one of these vases made if someone was goofy enough to buy one.
Wait, I fucking lost. There's no fucking way. That's surprising that Chris Chan was able to sell their stuff, but this person couldn't. It's incredible.
From him. His mania dies down, and after complaining about not making any money with his art, blaming it on companies not giving him a chance, he decides to go after the people who are stealing his art and claiming it as their own. Well, this is ironic, considering that he's done this hundreds of times at this point. There's no evidence that anyone's stolen any of Cyrax's original artwork at all. If I were to guess, he saw someone complaining about being stolen from and decided to just do the same thing. Obviously, if this was a real concern about a real piece of artwork, he could just—
Maybe he was inspired by Illuminati. Maybe that's where the inspiration came. Worked out for him. Maybe they could date. Illuminati and Cyrax, they might make a good couple. You know, they might be two peas in the same pod. I don't know.
Just get it copyrighted. If Chris Chan managed to copyright Sonichu, there's no way Cyrax couldn't do the same thing with his art. In April, he opened a new record label called Metal Militia, which hosted his band Black Fire Lighthouse. The only problem is his band was just a screen capture from the Flash game Punk-O-Matic. Didn't stop him from advertising for it using IMVU models though, and unfortunately, we are unable to hear any of their work at this moment.
I hate that I see IMVU gamer cards or whatever the fuck they're called at Walmart. I just think it's so weird. It's so bizarre. Don't get it.
Lost media. A couple of weeks later, he once again starts talking about making a video game, but it turns out he just learned how to use Mugen, a fighting game template that allows you to easily add playable characters by downloading pre-made files and placing them in a folder in the—
He put himself in there, bro. Sell it. Do it. Why is there? I mean, listen, I'm not a huge fan of the lolcow networks that continue to harass and troll these people. Although Cyrax, not exactly sympathetic to him, but have they made every one of the lolcows in the Mugen fighting game? Because that might be kind of interesting. And also, I would guarantee if somebody did that, they'd probably make me one too. Because I think people are upset with me and they could be. But I'd be fine with that. I mean, I think I could be pretty cool. Big fat fucking guy, probably be a pretty overpowered character. So I'm down for it.
Programs directory. On his Facebook, he showed a computer-generated fight between the protagonist of Fatal Fury, Sho Higashi, and movie star Bruce Lee. Unfortunately, his primitive programming skills weren't impressing anybody, so he once again became melancholic, sharing his negative experience with relationships. Everyone wonders why people like me have trust issues when in a relationship. It's because when you're hurt, abused, and lied to so much, you don't know what to do, and half the time you want to end it, but don't want to be the bad guy in the end. It's not as simple as most think, especially when you truly love someone and they treat you really bad, yet you still give them everything in the hopes of them changing. Those who have hurt me may be the way I am today in relationships, and that is in no way my fault. And if you have trust issues in a relationship and are getting treated badly, you are in no way at fault, and nor are you alone.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's not good to be treated poorly, but I feel like every relationship, when somebody's treating one person bad, the other person's also treating the other person badly. At least I think a typical relationship. I'm not talking about like abusive scenarios. You know, I'm talking about in like scenarios where both of them are like shit, you know, or like I feel like that's most relationships, you know. Although what do they call it, like reactive abuse, I guess. I don't know. But I'm just talking about, you know, two people that aren't supposed to be together being together, and it's not a good time.
Of Cyraxx has commented, saying, "Same, I have 3 dads." It's unknown if Chance is referring to a specific ex-girlfriend of his in this post, but as we'll learn later on, if anyone's abusive in his relationships, it's probably him. After getting over this slump, he's back to using online software meant for kids to make what he calls artwork. This time, he generates cards for other artists, but also one for his fans, so that they can get early access to all of his music and art. In May, he claims he lost a friendship with a girl due to the machinations of an online hacker by the name of Chuck Stiegel, someone who he alleges has been harassing and hacking him for years. In a way, Chuck was Cyraxx's first troll and first A-log at the same time, and since he will reappear later on, it's good to get his introduction out of the way. For those who don't know, an A-log is a troll who is ultimately more ridiculous than the person they're going after. But how can someone be more ridiculous than Cyraxx, you may ask? Well, how about a self-proclaimed vampire who says things like this and claims to
Alright, I didn't see that.
be ridiculous than Cyraxx, you may ask? Well, how about a self-proclaimed vampire
killing friends across the street, starting their bull something. Freaking white women who prefer black guys. Jesus. Chuck, what's going on, brother? Also, why are there no likes on these comments? What the hell?
who says things like this and claims to be a conservative Christian while publicly cross-dressing online. Oh, and
that's a guy? Okay.
Oh, and if that's insufficient, he's also the author of the cult classic Retarded Goth Jerking Off While Crying. His relationship with
No way. What's happening here?
Cyraxx began in 2013 when
they used to be friends?
According to the archivist, they, along with a third friend called Billy Thayer, tried their hand at being a band, but it instantly fell apart, as all of Cyraxx's creative endeavors do. We know this not because of Chance's troll following, because at the time, he was unknown. It was Chuck's troll following, which preceded Cyraxx's by a very long time, that preserved these pieces of info. While they were much smaller in comparison to what Cyraxx...
Damn, this is like a... What is this? This is like an episode of Full House or something. Well, what's a show with a spinoff? I don't know, but a show with a spinoff. You get what I'm saying?
Eventually amassed.
Oh, it's like Jimmy Neutron, and then they made Sheen's show and Cyraxx's Sheen, I guess. Don't get angry at me for comparing Cyraxx and Sheen together, please.
They were enough to, through the word of mouth, tell the tale of how Chuck tried to set Cyraxx up with another girl while he was engaged to Heather to try and break them up. When this failed, Chuck sent Heather nude photos of himself to try and seduce her, and when Cyraxx found out, they had a falling out, and Chuck continued to harass Cyraxx by hacking into his accounts. This retelling, which happens to be the earliest one online, places the breakdown of their friendship at 2013. A later retelling, which Chuck himself corroborates, places it at 2015 and claims that Chuck decided to cut ties with Chance after discovering that he'd been exchanging inappropriate messages with a 16-year-old. The thing is, how could this be possible if Chuck hadn't already been hacking into Cyraxx's accounts? Chuck is from Florida, while Cyraxx is from Ohio. So there's no chance Chuck was using one of Chance's devices and randomly stumbled on the messages. The most likely story, especially since hindsight is 2020, and we later discover that Chance does indeed have proclivities toward inappropriate interactions, is that discovering Cyraxx's messages just gave Chuck pretext for what he was already doing. Before we get back into the main story, it's noteworthy to point out that their aforementioned mutual friend, Billy Thayer, met Chuck in a residential mental health program before they left to live on the streets. Eventually, Chuck managed to pay for a room in a boarding house, which they shared. Upon discovering his existence and immediately noticing he was an odd fellow who bore somewhat of a resemblance to Daniel Larson, the trolls took an interest. At the point this happened, Billy had fallen out with Chuck due to the latter having accused him of possessing CP, so the method of getting Billy to talk was creating a Discord server and pretending to be a secret government agency created with the sole purpose of investigating Chuck Stiegel.
What the fuck is happening? Why is this happening?
This yielded a lot of results. Certainly.
How old is this guy? How old is this weird person? And how old is like the minors that they're talking to? Like they said 16. Is he like 18 or how old? Did they mention it? Did I miss it?
Much more than initially expected. The most significant of which are archived in one of the main hubs for Cyraxx trolling, Masshole Mafia. It seems that Billy not only believed he was a Crip, a martial artist, and an experienced military man who went on multiple tours in the Middle East in the early 2000s, being decorated with a Purple Heart, among other medals. Though it's unknown if any of Billy's spiel has any truth to it, what is known for a fact is that his social media is full of posts like this one. As the trolls discovered that Chuck's accusations had some weight to them, they decided to catfish Billy pretending to be a single mom with a 4-year-old daughter. By doing this...
Oh, Jesus Christ. 4? What the fuck?
They successfully convinced Billy to concede remote access to his accounts, and what was found was shocking. The extent of what I can show from their findings is very limited, but rest assured you're not missing out on anything worth seeing.
Child bride, Yahoo image, pregnant child giving birth. What the fuck? Jesus, this is fucking disturbed.
Let's just say Billy Thayer should move to Florida. The
Yeah, sure. Florida's fucking wild when it comes to their age consent.
FBI and LAPD were informed of Billy's online dealings, and the trolls had a field day by having Billy do things like dunk his head into a toilet and flush. While he seemed intent on killing Chuck for having exposed him, he eventually defaulted into just trying to get a single mom to move into the boarding house he was living in.
This video is for my little princess. Just so you know, Daddy loves you.
Wow.
Eventually, this sting operation culminated in a phone call with Billy in which he incriminated himself.
The truth is that we found you because of your association with Chuck. And we checked your Facebook page and we saw a picture of a woman and a young girl kissing, and you said that it turned you on. And it was a very young girl, Billy, very, very young. So
how young? Like 4?
We hypothesized that you were probably a pedophile, which you are because I posed as a single mother with a 4-year-old daughter that is not real, and you messaged me telling me that you wanted to stay home with this made-up child to molest her all day. So I got your personal information, I called Kissimmee police, I turned you in, and
thank God she called the police. Holy fuck, that's insane. That's fucked up. Jesus Christ.
And I'm going to make a video and put it on YouTube exposing you for the 41-year-old creep that you are that wants to fuck 4-year-olds.
How old is he?
Video and put it on YouTube exposing you for the 41-year-old creep.
41. That's fucking disgusting, dude. Holy fuck. That's worse, I think, than like I think any of the lolcow shit I've ever seen in my entire life. That's fucking insane. Jesus Christ.
That you are that wants to fuck 4-year-olds.
I'm not what you think I am. I was testing you.
You were testing me. You were testing me to see if I'm okay with pedophiles like you or not, because I'm not.
I'm not like that. I was testing you. That's all a lie. Because I even looked into it and it's horrible.
Right, because it was actually a 40-year-old woman pretending to be a child to bait you, and you tried to have sex with what you thought was a child. And then, even worse, you tried to make a plan to have a single mom move down to Florida, buy you a house, because you're unemployable, Billy. You can't hold a job or support yourself.
Oh, I'm not unemployable. I work at SeaWorld.
No, you said that you left SeaWorld, and you're not going to work at SeaWorld.
I'm sorry. This is not funny, but fucking SeaWorld got me. You worked at this fucking SeaWorld. What? Okay. Incredible stuff. Fucking SeaWorld, dude. Sorry. Okay.
For very much longer, because we called them too and let them know that you're a pedophile and you shouldn't be around children.
I don't know. SeaWorld might not fire him. SeaWorld is fucking abusive to their animals. I don't know. Maybe they'll be like, this guy's par for the course for us. We prefer him. We prefer somebody with no humanity.
Because you have fantasies about molesting 4-year-old girls.
Well, I got news for you. I'm going to work tomorrow.
All right, well, I'm sure your manager is going to have a lot to say to you tomorrow.
The fact Billy was working at SeaWorld is horrifying to say the least. All this goes to show what kind of company Cyraxx was attracting. Honestly, with this in mind, dating juggalettes isn't half bad. Unfortunately, both Chuck and Cyraxx were eventually faced with similar accusations with differing degrees of severity, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Back to the man of the hour, Chance Wilkins. He apparently dropped a book called Soul Census, but unfortunately, we don't have access to its contents. After designing a few more cars, Cyraxx decided to move on to bigger and better, high-powered war mechs. It's interesting how it goes into detail about the kind of weapons and defense mechanisms it has, as if it were or possibly could be real, much like a kid would. He then designs some of the most revolutionary-looking footwear of all time. That being said, critics found his revolutionary design somewhat controversial, to which he said, "To all my haters, sticks and stones could never shake my tone, so I'm thinking your words haven't got a hope." Based. He announces his—
I was kind of... Where did he find that out? Because that was kind of smooth. I'm not sure. What the fuck? Where was that from?
new music project, Urban Warfare, but quickly devolves back into his lonely persona as he makes a post featuring an image of Rurouni Kenshin hugging his girl with the caption, "This is what I want, a beautiful girl who treats me right and won't abuse or hurt me. Is that too much to ask for? Is it too much for me to ask to be happy for once in my life? So what if I don't look the best? That shouldn't matter. What should matter is how the other one is treated." He then specifies 20—
You know, I feel like people... Listen, I feel like find somebody that's in your own sphere. You know, like for instance, Daniel Larson. I think if he instead of trying to be wasn't obsessed with Grace Vanderwall, but somebody else that was struggling, probably do very well. Maybe live in a group home, off the street, no internet. Be a great thing for him.
25 CD pre-orders will constitute Urban Warfare's rollout, and I'm not sure why that's the number he picks, but that is it. After showing his brand spanking new IMVU avatar for Shadowblade, he drops a rant on how the music industry and record labels are exploitative and unfair, despite never having actually been signed to a record label. He then
What is he gonna start fucking blaming Jewish people now? Next? Like Kanye West? What the fuck? Okay. I mean, maybe they are. I don't know. But, okay. Incredible stuff. What the fuck?
Posted said rant 3 times, I guess because he was unhappy with the little traction the first post got. Overall, 2016 was a positive year for Cyraxx, perhaps the last one of them. Apparently, not only did he once again enter a relationship, he started a job at a new place called Miracle Riders, though this might be just yet another iteration of his fake Second Life car business. Most importantly, 2016 was a year with no police reports from the Cyraxx household. The same cannot be said for 2017. January is kicked off with a plethora of new livestream VODs going up on his Facebook account, most of which contain the usual we've come to expect from Cyraxx. At this point, he's also convinced himself he knows how to play the guitar.
Wow. Well, he convinced me to.
And his superb production skills also make a reappearance.
Oh, yo, let me make sure I can add people to this.
After thinking about life, Chance begins to work on a music documentary and enters another relationship, while his live streams are forced to go on a brief hiatus due to someone reporting him. His banning and subsequent return are the primers that kick off what his trolls have come to call the living room saga, where he was frequently recording himself doing his routine not in his bedroom, but in the middle of Sally's living room. On the first day of February, he released a new dubstep track.
That's why I said.
How do you make dubstep? I don't understand. How do you make this music? It's very talented.
Hey, throw your shades on it. This is fucking fire, dude.
It's really a testament to his intellect and
I just watched the whole Sneeko video or something. Yeah, that shit was fucking crazy.
awareness that he's dropping dubstep tracks in 2017. Or maybe he's
Cyraxx
just
and Christian, or Daniel Larson and Christian. Is that who you're saying should date? I don't know. It's fucking crazy. I don't even think I would wish. I don't think I would curse. I would never wish that onto Daniel Larson. Christian is too much.
swag. For some unexplainable reason, in a lot of these live streams, he wears these motorcycle glasses on his head. I guess because he thinks it's cool in cybergoth. Which, make no mistake, it is. He then made a new band with his friend called Hallow Injection, with some wonderful cover art to go with it. He drops another song, this one with a feature from a friend of his, though it appears he misplaced his friend's verse on the beat, then moves on to working on his new EP called Nut House. Since his music endeavors weren't working out, he offered his services as a dog sitter or babysitter before going back to selling beats, this time for 50 cents each. He also started a radio show and even hosted a concert to fight racism, all while working on a video game style movie and his first ever all-rap album. Unlike many of his other albums and
Was this during 2020? Is that when he went to fight against the man? That was pretty popular back then. Was fighting racisms.
songs. This album is still up and very accessible. This is the cover for it, and this is how it sounds.
Every single day to watch my best friend die and pretend just to protect my life, yeah, you.
But Cyrax's disappointments with the music industry resurfaced. First, he alleged that someone stole a car design from him and submitted it to the Power Rangers film from 2017. It got accepted.
Bro, who's putting these ideas in this fucking guy's head? Come on.
And they took credit for it. It doesn't seem like he ever names the person who supposedly did this, so we can probably chalk it up as just another instance of Chance completely hallucinating life events that didn't happen. Next, he claimed a record label wouldn't sign him because he was too ugly and pretended he'd been crying for hours about it before
I mean, that's possible. You know, it might be that. I'm just saying. Looks are very important when it comes to this type of stuff. So maybe there's a level of truth there. I don't know. But also it might be because his music is not that good. Well, it's pretty good, actually. You can't take that away from them. You know.
Dropping a song called F the Industry, targeted at said record label, which he does not name at any point in time. It's also in February that he drops possibly one of the best pieces of avant-garde comedy ever witnessed by man.
Oh. Nobody here. Oh. Where am I? Hey, what the hell? Wait, what? Dude, who are you? Okay. Who are you? I asked you first. Oh, let's fight. Come on.
In March, he gives up on releasing one of the...
Usually what I do when I don't know who somebody is. It's just like, let's fight. Let's fucking fight, dude. You know? That's where to go.
His albums because doing so officially would cost $20. He then opens a store for Shadowblade merch and fakes a newsletter from the mobile game Vainglory, where he's described as one of the top 2 players in North America. In a video posted to his Facebook, he claims he made it and announces he'll be doing a concert in Chicago, and then 2 days later he goes on a hiatus. It seems he joined another label in the meantime, Outcast Records, to release his long-awaited return to the rap game, Rebirth, after a couple of weeks or so of not posting any tracks and just busying himself with online drifting games. Oh, and he got another girlfriend named Tiny, who is obviously a catfish. Eventually,
I was about to say, are we vetting these girlfriends? Because I'm starting to not believe it anymore. I don't believe it. That's hard to believe. Too many fucking girlfriends, dude. Jesus Christ.
He did do a concert, if we can call it that, which consisted of him performing his songs in his usual living room setting. His next creative pivot is to make a series for YouTube about zombies called Dead Adventures, and after many instances of Chance comparing his relationship with Miss Tiny to Naruto and Hinata, they break up, supposedly because of Tiffany, which is Tiny's real name, saying something to her special needs aunt that Cyraxx wasn't okay with.
But what she said to her aunt is beyond fucked up. She told her aunt to shut the fuck up, stop asking questions, and to quit playing with the curtains before she smacks the living shit out of her.
Due to his history of twisting the truth to make himself look better, there's no telling if there's any truth to the statement here.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe he did that to the aunt instead, right?
It didn't seem like the breakup shook him too badly, considering just a while later, he was dropping more banger Facebook posts such as, "My team knows about this. When you're a boss and grab that last can of NOS that the store has in stock." Soon after, he got together with yet another girl, who according to Cyraxx was his high school sweetheart. Moving increasingly farther away from music, he returned to his knack for game programming, apparently to make a game called Fantasia Order of the Moon. And I can only assume he's going to use RPG Maker to do so. Later on, he announces he'll be taking a voice acting role in a game, as opposed to taking on the role of the programmer, but neither of these things ever materialize. He returns to music instead to tease his new album, OCR Princess Farewell Tink Tink, which is probably the most deranged title so far.
What the fuck? What the fuck is that? Okay.
At some point, he either broke up with his high school sweetheart, or she has more than one name, as on June 6th, he claims that unnamed people are trying to break him up with his girlfriend, Betty. He seems to become increasingly upset and frustrated in general, which leads to his efforts towards music noticeably decreasing. After re-releasing his old album, Darkness to Light, he considers quitting music altogether, saying, "To be honest, these last couple of days, I've been contemplating quitting music because record labels don't know how to shut their mouths about me and refuse to stop bashing on me all because of my physical appearances. Do I want to quit? No, but how can I make a living?"
Why is there's this constant theme of him thinking people don't like him for his look? I mean, there's probably a little truth to it, but it's like bizarre. Why is he? I guess he's just self-conscious. This is fucking bizarre.
If they won't stop bashing on me and give me a fair chance to show them what I can do. Many others believe I should be signed, but it's hard to get signed when
What happened with the woman that sent stuff to the police? You know, I don't know. Did they ever arrest the guy? Was that part of this? Because I hope so.
labels constantly tear you down and bash on you. He makes yet another live stream complaining about how the only reason he doesn't get signed and make it in the music industry is because of his looks, and follows it up by retiring the name Shadowblade so that he can start anew. Right around this time, Linkin Park vocalist Chester Bennington tragically passes away, and despite knowing very little about what actually happened, he didn't hesitate to chime in and act as if his death had something to do with bullying. His way of paying tribute to Chester was to release a Linkin Park mashup dubstep
Didn't he pass away because of a drug overdose? Or am I wrong about that?
album. It doesn't seem like this project ever came to fruition, and his frustration and rage kept building up until it hit a fever pitch. On the 24th of July, he made another rant on labels, and an ego-driven psychosis was replacing the usual self-victimizing tone in his rants. It read, "To every label out there talking shit, I want you to know, yes, I may lose these battles, but in the end, this war..."
Oh, it was a suicide by hanging. Damn, that's tough, man. Maybe he was bullied. I don't know.
I will win, and I won't stop or back down. You guys think you can touch me? Well, guess what? You were wrong. There's a reason they call me demigod. I can't be touched by your negativity or your bullshit. So just know this. In the end, I will win this war and make it in the music industry and shut you all up for good. What's shocking is that this was actually prior to him being discovered by trolls whatsoever. Even without any opposition, Cyraxx
Really? Interesting.
was deadlocked in a war with
Well, they said that he was part of a different troll network now, so he probably was discovered in some capacity by trolls. No?
no one but himself, and it somehow looked like he was losing. A day later, he publicly pondered retiring from music altogether, but he proceeded to delve into his lonely state after breaking up once again. In his post about it, he complains that no girl is cool with him living in his mom's house to take care of her. After disappointment after disappointment,
Take care of her? What does he do to take care of her?
in his music career, his new dream is to be a professional drift racer, and the only thing stopping him from doing so is his lack of a driver's license. You see, this is how life kept things fair. Chris Chan couldn't get a girlfriend, but had a driver's license, while Cyraxx was the exact opposite. The reason he gave for losing his passion for making music was Chester's passing, and his new interests were making art books and calendars. August starts out in an interesting way, with Cyraxx telling a story about how his good friend Jason David Frank, the Green Power Ranger, was almost killed by someone who went to Comic-Con with 4 pistols intending to assassinate him. There are many, many far-fetched stories in Cyraxx's history, but this one is possibly the most difficult to understand. There's no telling if he ever met Jason David Frank in his life, nor is there an apparent reason for him to lie about this. Of all the people to claim you're friends with, why the Green Power Ranger? Well,
I mean, honestly, it's possible that he went to some kind of a Comic-Con and met this guy, and the guy was like, "Yeah, you're cool," because he's, you know, he's a Power Ranger guy. He's probably a nice guy, or I guess he was, right? He passed away. And that's probably where that we'll call it a concept came from. I'm just kind of guessing though. Could be wrong about that. I don't know. I don't know.
While the story about the guy with 4 guns at Comic-Con is verifiably true, since many third parties have reported it, I can't make out why Cyraxx is particularly interested. Chance's behavior patterns were becoming increasingly explicit with every mood swing and episode. He repeatedly told his life story to make people feel sorry for him, while cyclically announcing new albums and new retirements to try and get people to ask him not to retire. Another recurrent theme is him accusing people of hacking him whenever he was caught doing something unseemly. For example, on August 16th, he accuses Tiffany of hacking him and making it look like he was cheating on his then girlfriend, Abby, even making a video to bring the point home. All of this while starting livestream after livestream, wherein he rubbed his head and picked things off of his lips. On the 20th of August, a strange police report is made when one of Chance's neighbors decides to call for a welfare check after Chance's ex-boyfriend apparently threatened Sally over the phone. I'm not sure what to make of this or what it's supposed to mean, but it sure looks like what I said. Besides his extensive use of what appears to be a rap battle app, which he claims is where he now releases his songs through, not much happens during the following period. Besides complaining about the lookism of record labels, he now lumps in promoters as being to blame for his lack of
Lookism, very good. It took me a second. Okay, very good.
success. While not mentioning having broken up with Abby, he starts posting things as if he was now single and looking for someone. What might have been happening is that on Facebook,
Damn, this guy seems like he might be a little bit of a cheater. I don't know, man.
There's this feature that allows you to select people whom you don't want seeing your posts, and Chance was using this as a way to cheat in plain sight, I guess. He then holds a meet and greet in Akron for his fan base to congregate and meet up with him so he can give them autographs. Funnily enough, it looks like he didn't show up for his own event. After looking for metal bands in Akron to be the vocalists
Did like a lot of people actually show up?
Funnily enough, it looks like he didn't show up for his own event. After looking for metal
Well, did people actually show up or no? I think maybe it was a good thing he didn't show up to his own event.
bands in Akron to be the vocalist of, and failing, he tries his hand at
What Was that a Power Ranger? Yeah, yeah.
Selling digitally traced and filtered stock images as if they were original artwork. More and more, I'm thinking that his incessant complaints about people stealing his art are as a result of people pointing out that his art is identical to all of these already existing stock images.
That's possible. Is that the idea that he thinks he came up with the art, and then he's claiming that it's his, and that other people stole his stuff? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Okay.
So he resorts to claiming they're the ones copying his stuff. He grew increasingly shameless about what kind of art he claimed was his own. For example, this one. I'm pretty sure this is some kind of foot fetish fan art. Meanwhile, this is just a famous picture of Audrey Hepburn he was convinced he could pawn off for $40. He even made up some lore to go with his lies, talking—
Bro, he probably fucking took that picture himself. He's probably a time traveler. We don't know. Maybe his past life. I don't know. We don't know. We don't know.
About how rich brats were removing his watermarks with Photoshop and making money off of it. Never, not even once, does he actually even name anyone that's supposedly doing this. On September 12th, he decided to hold a memorial for not 9/11, but 9/11, which I guess is September 1st, 2001. Okay. Never forget. The Facebook post he made about it had attached to it images of the car he designed in his drifting game, emblazoned with an American flag and 911 on the hood. I'm pretty sure the 911 logo in-game is supposed to designate a police car, but what matters is the intent. A day later, he drops a heavier cover of Evanescence's song Going Under. From the middle to the end of the month, he begins to tease potentially retiring again due to his computer being broken, rendering him unable to produce any artwork. As October starts, we can assume he's been kicked off one of—
What kind of a computer do you need to just take other people's artwork? I don't understand.
The hundreds of bands he's joined, despite having no discernible skills as a music artist, because he makes a post complaining about people not being serious about their music and wanting to be like other bands instead of being original. I personally take this to mean that his offbeat Benadryl flows weren't his bandmate's cup of tea. In order to give himself an air of importance, he follows it up with another post blatantly lying. Sitting here in tears, and I'm on the verge of quitting music for good because I just got told in an email by the head A&R for Warner Brothers Records that if I were a pro in music, no one would want to remember me or my music because I don't look like all the others who are successful, and because I don't follow trends or anything like the huge successful ones do. This is what I face every fucking day of my life. Is like this. A day later,
I believe him. I believe that's true. I think that this guy is a victim of the Matrix, and that he would be popular if people would actually give him a chance, man. I think that's the truth. I guarantee you that's the truth, man. He'd be fucking famous.
In order to get some engagement his way, he dedicates another car design to the LGBTQ community in the wake of then-President Trump's ban on transgenders being in the military. Yeah. For some odd reason, Cyraxx thought that a Roman Empire-looking flag on the hood matched the rainbow flag design that it had on its side. In a stunning turn of events, he found himself a new girlfriend, Maria, before he even broke up with Abby, which seems to—
Are these new? I'm not understanding. There's no fucking way. Where does he find these people from? Like, what is happening, dude? I'm getting self-conscious by the fact that this guy's always got a fucking girlfriend. I mean, I'm married. I'm just fucking around. But, dude, I was like a virgin till 20, bro. That's fucked up. The hell? Maybe he just doesn't know what a girlfriend is. Maybe he's not fucking him. I don't really know. But, I mean, does he even know what sex is? Who fucking knows? I guess not, but I don't know. Jesus.
To have taken place 2 days later. In his post about the breakup, he mentions that he has no idea why her parents disapproved of him as a boyfriend for her daughter, though I think it may have been him publicly posting about his relationship with other girls, assuming this girl is even real to begin with. In a post in which he asked for help related to Social Security, it's revealed in the comments that a female acquaintance of his, potentially Abby, since we know her to be disabled to some extent, is under threat of having her supplemental security income taken away, and it's a possibility that she might get kicked out of her home and have all of her contact with the outside world cut off. Because of his experience with Abby, Chance grew more comfortable with the concept of being special needs himself. As we can see, near the end of October, he started to call himself a special needs artist and was considering making a YouTube docuseries about what it's like. Ultimately, this didn't pan out, and he gave up on music to pursue a career as a—
Did he not know that he was special needs? I mean, I get that. I have a friend. Who's you know, he could use some needs. You know, he's got some of those needs that are special. Good guy, you know, but I don't think he knows, because when we used to fuck with him and call him like autistic, I don't know what it's mean, but he would be like, I'm not autistic. And I get very upset by that. I wonder.
Digital artist and painter. A little while after, on Halloween, he posts a poem about PTSD, which seems to be written by him since there's a lot of odd syntax going on, and the rhymes are something straight out of Dr. Seuss. But it seems this time, Chance made the effort of putting the thing through a basic grammar check. Somehow, after retiring from music to pursue a career as a visual artist, he became successful as an author. As a post of his laments the lack of someone to celebrate his success with. Despite no longer being a musician, he dedicates a song of his to the military.
You guys have my full respect, not only as an army brat.
He then publishes more poems about samurais and other things that look a lot like they're not his, and proceeds to become a professional photographer. As he grows stir-crazy and mad from not having a computer to play around on all day, quietly returns to making pottery, though I should specify that it is micro-pottery. That's right, vases that are just 5 to 10 centimeters tall. I don't really know what led to this—
How the fuck do you make micro-pottery? That sounds like it's even harder to make than regular pottery, no?
development, but I think he must have found some like vase designing app on his phone that allowed him to simulate how much it would cost to make them. He claims to have sculpted and painted them by hand when they are visibly in a 3D program. He then makes a post complaining about how other people have it easy and he doesn't, despite being unemployed and living for free, making 216.mp3 tier music all day. Poetically,
that was pretty good. That was fucking good. You gotta be careful. That's gonna get DMCA'd, man. What the fuck? Holy shit.
His next post is about how good he is at playing GameCube. Finally, his fury scabs over, and he decides to quit his artistic aspirations to become an assassin. One man by the name of Hunter makes the terrible mistake of commenting under Cyrax's post, saying this: "I don't mean to be the asshole here in this situation, but your whole argument could be used against you. Besides that, I could be a bigger asshole and say you're bitching about others bitching. My point here is listen to yourself and people you care about and block out the annoyances, otherwise they'll drag you down and make you one of them." Little did Hunter know, Chance was not the one to take constructive criticism lying down, and his immediate response was to express
That's funny. I just like the way he phrased it.
himself via his music.
Papa Cyraxx stole a song from a girl talking about her trauma, and then she took it and sang it like he was the girl as well. Oh. How do you know that Cyraxx isn't trans, dude? You're not very affirming, okay? You're a fucking scumbag, actually.
A little comment, dude. And you know what? I got something for your ass.
Fancy Anessa super chatted $1.99.
Yeah.
Just got out a 6-year coma first time in stream.
Incredible stuff. Thank you so much.
Yo, I see you looking like a little mother. Acting like a young mother.
Eventually, he came around to address what Hunter, along with many other people, told him, which was that he should just let go of being mad and move on. This was Cyrax's brilliant response.
See, I get what you're saying, that I don't need to listen to people. And I'll admit, you know, you're right about that to a certain extent. But what you fail to realize is what I deal with every day. You see, I'm not like you. I can't just up and walk away from it all whenever the I feel like. I can't do that. It's not that I don't want to, it's that I can't. Because unlike you, I'll go through a lot more than you could ever imagine. Unlike you, I was born with 1 kidney, 1.5 functioning lungs. I was born 1
How do you have a half of a functioning lung? How does that work? Is just like half of it hanging there? What the fuck?
pound 12 ounces of was not supposed to weigh. Every fucking day, I face death in the face and say, you.
Initially, you could almost feel sorry for a guy being this screwed up from the get-go, but seeing how much he uses this for an excuse for his poor behavior and to self-aggrandize.
Oh yeah, like I said, he probably gets a positive feedback from constantly using it as an excuse. I mean, he seems to constantly do fucked up shit, and he still gets the feedback loop of like, oh yeah, you're not that bad of a guy, blah 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 blah, or whatever. Or they don't give him a legal punishment on the things that he seemingly needs to get legal punishment on. You know, so.
The pity wears off pretty quickly. If that minute or so was enough to be slightly annoying, let me tell you that the original live stream that clip came from is 40 minutes long, and Cyraxx just repeats himself for the entirety of it. To make things worse, he releases multiple nearly hour-long streams right after.
I wonder why the bad boy approach is common for these lolcow guys. I don't know, man. I think it's because they're not really tough guys, and they probably got bullied a lot, so they want to pretend to be like this tough guy. So,
about the same guy. This just shows how easily trollable Chance was. All it took was a few meager comments and he was bent out of shape and responding for days on end. After finally getting over Hunter, he goes back to blatantly lying for no reason. I'm officially pissed at myself. I was playing World Series Poker Tournament on my Kindle for real cash, and I fucked up on the last round on my last move and lost a shot at the prize of $125 million. I'd be
shit, dude.
Officially pissed at myself too. Nearing the end of November, he finally gets a new computer to do his streams on and changes his name to
You have 1.5 lung. There's no way that this dude has half a lung. He's dead. Wait, what? You have 1.5 lungs? What are you talking about? I'm so confused. What are you talking? Do you actually have 1.5 lungs? Oh, fucking good.
Iris. Very cool. His comeback to making music included becoming the co-founder of a record label called Bloodshot Records, of which he was one of the main artists. Years after it happened, he revisits the old drama regarding Eric Scrubolo and Kill a Clown sounds, only to claim that people were stealing from him and that Scrubolo was underpaying him and mismanaging all of his artists. According to Cyraxx, Eric was stuck in the past, unlike himself, who was always ahead of the curve. He also says that he thinks he's owed money.
Bro, stop with these pictures, man. I can't handle it. Crazy.
Due to the Kill a Clown Sounds Facebook page having 1,000 fans, all the while conveniently glossing over the fact that he was
the stairs killing me.
kicked out of the label from stealing from Eric. But failing to understand how business works is not a talent that's
Oh, he had 1 kidney and 1.5 lungs. Okay, you know what I was talking about, dude. You know what I was saying. Did I say it wrong? Did I say something wrong? I'm so confused.
Cyraxx reserves for the music industry. He also raves at book publishing companies for asking $1,000 from him to publish this garbage, as if publishers should promote his work for free. The man of the hour closes the year off with a picture of him next to a gigantic Reese's cup. Very tasteful. While he spent the beginning of the next year trying to grow his label and add as many artists to it as possible, because he thought that's what it meant to run a label, he apparently was reacquainted with a man named Tanner, who'd approached him 2 years prior, claiming he worked for Tech Nine's label Strange Music, and offered him a $1.1 million contract for his beats. After warning everyone not to fall for his tricks, he made this endearing post. When you're awake at 4 a.m. and can't sleep, so you hop onto Adventure Quest 3D with your best friends who you've known since 08, shit gets real.
I don't know, man. Adventure Quest 3 was kind of good. You know? Maybe you should just play that and, you know. Instead of doing all this record label nonsense, huh?
And funny in seconds, lol. As much as he does extremely unlikable things, I'm almost beginning to empathize with him in the same way one would empathize with a screwed up rescue dog. Except
Jesus Christ.
This rescue dog is like kind of a heinous, horrible...
I mean, I feel bad for him for the way he was born and getting bullied. But he's, you know, I feel bad, but also, you know, I hope he doesn't have kids. I know that sounds mean, but, you know.
Human being. Not satisfied with every skill he's already mastered, Cyraxx enters the website game and claims he's now working on a social network like Facebook and MySpace combined. It's inspiring to me how courageous he is for posting this on Mark Zuckerberg's platform with no fear of having his cutting-edge code stolen from him, especially given Mark's track record. He quickly grows tired of the web dev hustle and gets into professional gaming, saying he should be getting paid for being as good as he is on Call of Duty Black Ops. Almost as if divine punishment for his misdeeds, Cyraxx goes to the
I mean, I get paid for playing games sometimes too. I'm not even good at them. I'm fucking terrible at them. You know, I should make my own gaming channel, guys. Would you guys like that?
And discovers he has shrunken an inch from 5'3" to 5'2". Soon after, a similar situation.
Bro, he's 5'2". Damn, I feel even worse for this guy. 5'2", dude. How the fuck do you even do that? Oh my god.
To that of Hunter happens, with someone making the following criticism of Cyraxx's music in a comment section. People are going nuts for no explainable reason. I'm afraid it's just not decent. The rhythm of the lyrics is dreadful. The auto-tune actually hurts to hear, and the vocal mixing is terrible. Can barely hear you. And there's been no decent mixing done on the vocals at all. It's flat and dry other than the auto-tune, which, as I said, is terrible. Too many people lie to you to make you feel good. I refuse to do so.
Damn, well, this guy's a fucking awesome guy, huh? Like this, the posts like the comments like this are just dumb.
Got Prodigy super chatted $4.99. Not for nothing, but this is my first time catching the stream.
Incredible, thank you
love
so
you,
much.
Papa.
I love you too.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, thank you. Happy holidays. People like this are like annoying. These are the people who bully somebody, and they're like, "I'm doing it for you," almost like I'm not gonna lie to you, like everybody. Like we know that he's obviously, you know, what's going on in his head. Like obviously, it's not very good. You know, but why are you so angry about it? That's my question. Like, why are you so fucking angry about it? Like, chill, relax.
Upset that someone was honest with him as opposed to just complimenting his stuff, Cyraxx decided to make a live stream responding, but not before he wiped his dirty teeth with his tank top right at the beginning of it. For once, it seems Cyraxx is actually upset instead of miming what he thinks a rapper or WWE wrestler would say when challenged. Once he begins his routine of belittling those who criticize him by saying he's gone through more, his critic says that he works full-time to support a family, and on top of that, as part of a metal band that has more fans than Cyraxx.
This guy's just like Boogie. Jesus, he probably works 40+ hours a week.
Which he visibly struggles to respond to meaningfully. For once, our champion is shaken, taken aback by the words of his naysayers. But like all things, Cyraxx forgot about it soon after due to his goldfish-like attention span and returned to playing his racing game while pretending on Facebook that he was an actual racer in real life.
Stop. Maybe he has a VR headset and that's why he thinks he's a racer.
Once again, trying his hand at selling the custom cars he made in-game, he tried contacting an actual art publishing company over...
I mean, can't you make a ton of money off of like Counter-Strike skins? Like, isn't there a thing that you could sell on Steam? Should I try to do that after this? Try to sell Counter-Strike, like some of the skins I might have? I wonder.
Email and got immediately dismissed for how ridiculous and worthless his customs were. While there was never and continues to be no chance for Chance to become famous for his music, his incessant Facebook posting, along with his responses to anyone who dared to criticize him, we're seeing an increase in engagement. His fame as a lolcow was taking his baby steps. He proceeded to join DeviantArt to sell his art pieces for $1 each and posted these nice images to showcase his ability to use photo filters. On the 23rd, he dropped another album called Blackout with a hue-shifted picture of Master Chief from Halo as the cover. Eventually, his ability to stream on Facebook was taken away, thankfully, supposedly due to...
You make a lot of CSGO skins? Maybe that's what I should start doing, man. I hear, like, CSGO gambling? Hell yeah, dude. I don't know.
A cover he made of a Linkin Park song on the harmonica. He then invents the deranged headcanon that record labels and studios from the 50s used to help artists for no pay, and it's unfair that the current ones won't do the same for him. He applies the same logic to book publishers and announces a search for a company that will publish his works for free. Works, which apparently now include a high school manga based around his life, with yet another step being taken towards becoming Christian.
Is that real? He's got a high school manga based on his life? Okay. What the hell is that? What does he look like in the manga? Is there an actual picture? Can we see? No.
And March was void of any interesting activity besides the fact that, judging from Cyraxx's posts and Eric's comments on them, the two were back on good terms with each other. His ability to livestream was reinstated, much to the displeasure of his haters and the extreme pleasure of his trolls. Being the man he is, he makes a post complaining about having lost an ex-girlfriend of his to a supposed friend. By the way, said ex-girlfriend has a cat that appears to have Cyraxx syndrome in the eyes. His account is once again placed under threat of suspension or ban due to his continued covering of songs, and I'm pretty sure it's because he plays the actual songs during his streams, and you can intermittently hear them unedited in the stream's audio. Cyraxx claims his videos were getting almost 4,000 views, which is is an absolute lie. Due to him reconnecting with Eric Scrubalo, he's given the opportunity to perform at a live venue on the 21st of June, though it would be free admission. Still, that's better than performing metal Evanescence covers for 5 viewers on a Facebook Live. However, just a month later, it starts looking like his relationship with Eric is once again on the fast track to self-destruction, since Cyraxx continues not to understand that his music needs to profit anything in order for Eric to pay him. In the middle of May, it looks like Cyraxx got the hang of using cheap online publishers to release his music digitally. Meanwhile, we see—
Is that what he thinks? That he just makes something and it makes money, and he doesn't realize that it actually has to— people have to like the thing that you make? That's unfortunate. Just imagine not understanding that, like, really basic concept. Like, that's gotta really fuck you up. It's gotta be real difficult to be you.
One of the first signs of what would eventually come to be Cyraxx's downfall. It appears he had been catfished.
I feel like Cyraxx probably doesn't even understand how his life is. Like, he probably understands how his life is hard, and I'm not exactly empathetic to the person. But does he, like, really understand, like, that he doesn't have a basic understanding of things? It's not that he's ugly. It's that he just doesn't fucking understand anything. It's something.
By someone by the name of Lewis, who accomplished the probably not extremely difficult task of tricking Cyraxx into showing his member to him by pretending to be a girl who was fallen for his irresistible riz. Then Lewis proceeded to use the intimate image of Cyraxx to blackmail him into doing something that we're unaware of. However, when Cyraxx took to Facebook to warn people of this, he pretended he was hacked, and that's how Lewis got those pictures of him in the first place. And it would happen many other times in the future.
I mean, that's kind of fucked up, though, like getting his news like that. That's like weird. It's also like a weird thing that you'd want to do. Why are you trying to see this guy's dick? Like, that's just really fucking weird. I don't get it. Okay.
But we'll get to that eventually. June starts out on the wrong foot, or rather, the infected foot, as Cyraxx finds himself in a fight for his life against an infection on his toe. It doesn't break his stride, however, as on the very next day, he makes a post humble bragging about how a bunch of girls want to be with him now just because he's rich and famous, despite the fact that he's neither of those things. A few days later, we hear the bad news of
Cyraxx. He's certainly famous. It seems like he's certainly famous, I'll say that.
Cyraxx's live concert has been canceled, supposedly due to people not getting the dates right. That's
fucked up. I wonder if he should try to do a concert in Fortnite. I hear that's a thing now. I hear Eminem was doing a concert or is doing one or has done a Fortnite concert, which is pretty cool.
Weird reason for him not to do the concert, so I'm presuming he's leaving out some part of the story here. Or the concert was never going to happen in the first place. He channels this anger into making a diss track on Donald Trump and creating a new YouTube channel called Gamerzone, for which at least one of the logos was stolen directly from a rap battle channel called GZ Battles. Somehow, despite having his concert canceled and making rigorously no money from his music, he makes a post to his Facebook saying the following: "Producers and companies might hate me, but later today I will be revealing and exposing live on Facebook how to avoid producers who want $50+ for one beat and how to become self-successful in music on your own with no label backing whatsoever, and showing you how most artists these days can make it with zero money."
I just hate how somebody reacted to it with like a fucking, like one of those like, wow, like surprised faces. Come on. Stop feeding into this guy's fucking delusion, dude.
Not have to spend a single dime to just do it how I did it. His great tips are a list of free music making apps, and he never gets to the point about how exactly to make money out of using them. On the 22nd, due to whatever caused the concert to fall apart, Eric and Cyraxx were back at odds as the latter dropped a video attacking him.
And you might think I suck. Well, dude, if I suck so bad, why is my music up on Spotify? Why have I been Reverb Nation's #1 artist from 2010 up to this year? So I guess that ends that relationship. But you know what? At least I'm out here making money.
Where's he getting this idea that he was the #1 artist from? I'm so confused.
That's the issue with you. You're not fucking business smart.
Apparently, Chance has been rated the best musician in the entire nation for the entire decade and is making money. Again, anything is sufficient to make Cyraxx's ego inflate and learn.
So who fucking tells him this though? Like, how does he come to this conclusion? Like, does he know he's lying? Does somebody tell him this and he believes it? Like, does somebody send him an email that says like pretending to be Spotify? I'm so fucking confused, dude. Hey, what's going on, brother? Excuse me. Thank you for everything, Papa Gut. I just discovered you and heard what you do. I appreciate this as a victim. Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel you, brother. I appreciate your patronage. I do, genuinely. I hope you're doing well.
Learning how to simply publish his music on platforms has got him convinced that there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people buying his music. During the video, there's a moment in which he acts like he's going to show his money before giving up on it.
You know what? Nah. I ain't gonna waste that on you.
Very obviously, he relented because there's probably not any money to speak of. A couple of days later, he shows his chiseled abs and pecs underneath what looks to be a discount Sonichu necklace.
There's no way that's him, dude. He's fucking diced. What the fuck? There's no fucking way.
I think these things must be like voodoo totems and invoke the same demon that possesses these guys to do the stuff they do. Despite now being a successful superstar in music, Cyraxx—
Is that really him? Bro, come on. He's actually kind of fucking diced, bro. What does he do? What the fuck is he doing all day? What the fuck? This is insane. What the fuck?
The same demon that possesses these guys to do the stuff they
This is a lung, really, half a lung really seems to be a good thing or something. I don't know. Seems to have some kind of impact.
They do. Despite now being a successful superstar in music, Cyraxx once again started pursuing another endeavor, filmmaking. On the 26th of June, he posted an unofficial trailer for a movie called Lady in White. Another wonderful film production for Mr. Rax is this monstrosity.
Maybe that's how he keeps getting girlfriends. Maybe that's what it is. I don't fucking know, man. Damn. He has 2 pounds of fat. Bro, stop. Stop it. Stop fake Michael Quinn, you fucking asshole. You're just jealous that he's diced. You're not. He got a YouTube play button one time, but it was from those, like a Temu shop. Okay. I think I have one somewhere. Well, I do. I just don't know where I put it.
You better run.
After this, he posted an image of a Google Hangouts Chester Bennington had participated in and edited his own face in the corner in a hilariously bad fashion to make it look like they were like hanging out. Come July 4th, and Cyraxx celebrates it by getting into another relationship, and right after, releases a new track called Please Notice Me that somehow manages to be a #1 hit before it was even published. It's not enough to lie about his success in one venue, he has to do it in all of them. He claims he's in tears because he had to turn down a deal with Hoonigan, a well-known racing channel.
Yeah, maybe it is the meth. Maybe the meth really just is like a superpower. It's like some kind of a fucking crazy superpower to do meth, I guess. Damn. Crazy.
Because he didn't have 100,000 subs on YouTube, and that Hoonigan was willing to send him a full setup. Later on, he admits that he has no license and thus wouldn't be allowed to drive anything, let alone a race car. After a while of not getting anything done, Cyraxx decides to attention seek by trying to get people to pity him, and telling a fake story about how the doctors told him he'd have to stop making music or he was going to lose his voice. His pity-baiting posts intensify as he retells his life story for the umpteenth time, this time subtracting 2 ounces from his birth weight to make it even more extreme. In order to stick to his I'm going to lose my voice story, he pivots to being a photographer again, until on the 17th, he announces again that he's entered a relationship. On the same day, he reveals he's gotten back together with Abby, but the good times only lasted so long. His song, Please Notice Me, was attracting some attention on YouTube and consequently negative attention as well. People were
Damn. Did he find another girl because his song went platinum? Is that what happened?
Pointing out how horrible it sounded, and Cyraxx was responding in a very Cyraxx fashion. August is a relatively quiet month, with him mourning his bandmates from high school who allegedly overdosed on heroin and meth at the same time. A little while later, he starts flipping out on people who steal art, right?
That's so sad, man. Like, I remember I worked with the guy one time, and his kid used to be a drug. I guess you're always a drug addict once once you start, you're never not an addict anymore. But he stopped doing drugs for a very long time, and then one day I guess he just kind of gave into doing drugs again, and he did as many drugs as he had done when he was actively using, but because his tolerance went down exponentially, he ended up overdosing. It's fucking tragic, man. That shit's fucking tragic, brother. It's sad. It's just some sad stuff.
Before his own artwork suffers copyright takedown due to the fact that a lot of it is just downloaded from Google Images and re-uploaded as his own. Eventually, the 6 weeks waiting period that he claims he has to undergo in order to claim royalties for his music is up, and now he gets to lay his hands on the total lump sum of $14, though he struggles to do so and starts berating the platform that supposedly owes him money on Facebook. Later on, early signs of troll activity begin, with people doing the old CWC routine of taking his name and pretending to be the real him online, and immediately this tactic shows some success at getting a reaction out of Cyraxx. The lack of music in September is justified by the other things Cyraxx is up to during the month. Namely, he drops a trailer for his first short horror movie, The Darkness. As you can see, all characters are played by him in an Eddie Murphy Norbit type of vibe. It's also in September that he drops one of his most
Is it really just like the vibe? Is that what it is?
Absolute classic videos, the dance battle response to
what are you guys fighting about in the chat right now? What's happening? What the hell?
Old rival. I really don't know how to put into words how I feel about this other than amazing, excellent, divine, beautiful. Later on in the month, he does a rehash of his tutorial on how to become a successful artist without spending any money, this time under the moniker of Dark Star Films, his fantasy production company for The Darkness. In early October, which is fittingly the spooky month, The Darkness is dropped in its entirety, and it's absolutely incomprehensible. It begins with a sped up shot of Cyraxx walking into his own house before a hard cut to a flashback wherein you can see him with a PewDiePie face cam looking dumbfounded as he frantically switches
Does he say the N-word on a bridge too, or what?
Between some kind of virtual radio stations, but all you can hear is static. Cut to the present, he wakes up on the couch and starts mumbling nonsense to himself for a few minutes. He walks around his house until he randomly starts hearing voice acting.
Why does it look like a what is it called, like a VDO game or something? Like for like the Sega Genesis or the Sega CD. Why does this look like a Sega CD game?
Lines from the baby character at a Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, which I believe are copyrighted, by the way, so we're not going to play that. He ignores this and continues to wander aimlessly until he leaves his house to look for his friends. In doing so, he becomes hypnotized by how beautiful the forest looks and finds himself compelled to walk into it like an ancient Greek tale. He hears more lines from the baby character, and this time it freaks him out, prompting him to start running around. Eventually, he identifies whatever is haunting him as the force of darkness before going home and calling his friends again. He hears more baby lines and goes back to waking out, but eventually just goes back to sleep. Once he falls asleep, the movie cuts to Cyraxx in the darkness with a blinking light illuminating his face as a nightmare nightmare sequence. He wakes up again and starts talking to himself until the baby lines start up again, and I guess he starts choking to death. After that, he just plays someone else's creepy horror video, and then there's a few minutes of darkness. Quite conceptual. Due to how unintentionally funny the darkness was, it garnered more views than Cyrax as usual, and eventually, it piques the attention of the man who would make Cyrax famous, but not for the reasons you would expect. The official Cyrax...
Well, the reasons I expect are as a lolcow, so what would it possibly be?
Cyrax timeline, because yes, he has an official timeline, marks October the 19th is the day Cyrax's nemesis, Music Biz Marty, discovered his existence due to someone called the Boy Blue introducing him to Chance's content while he harassed one of his ex-girlfriends, Candle. There's no linked source to back this particular time frame, but by closely studying his Facebook activity, we can deduce that Cyrax entered into a relationship with Candle on the 11th of October, and they, I guess, continue to stay together until the end of November, when Cyrax posted about his prospects of marrying her, even picking out who would be the godparents of the children he was planning to have with her. Thankfully, it never got that far, though, considering we're soon to discover Cyrax's proclivity toward frequently whipping out his private parts whenever given the opportunity, or not given.
Hey, same. You know what I mean, dude? If you're proud of it, you gotta show it.
The opportunity. We can assume that having a girlfriend kept Rax nicely wrangled up for the month of November because no occurrences took place whatsoever. However, the month of December kicks off with an already very strange note. Cyrax makes a live stream asking for people to financially help him move Candle in with him all the way from Mississippi to Akron. According to Chance, this is necessary because her parents are allegedly abusive and have kicked her out, rendering her homeless. He further establishes that she's disabled and half blind, much like himself, and that her parents have been stealing her disability money away from her, going as far as shredding Candle's debit card.
Are they actually stealing money, or are they utilizing that, like, are they just like the, I guess you'd say, owners of the money? Are they the ones, like, you know what I mean? Does she not have agency over herself to be able to handle her own money? Like, what's that? Or is none of this real? Is it just a fucking fake person?
When it came in the mail to prevent her from making her own purchases
together? Sure.
And taking her car keys away from her to keep her from taking it with her. What is particularly strange about this whole ordeal is that just a day later, Candle herself makes a comment saying, "Why would I come to you after the way you did me?" This makes it sound a lot like they were no longer together by the time Chance made this stream, despite him referring to her as his girlfriend multiple times in it. He proceeds to block her and make a post about her saying, "How the fuck do I always end up with all these girls who are not right in the head? Is it too much to ask for a normal, healthy relationship?"
Well, you know, I don't know. Who could possibly guess that? Who possibly could?
Not to reaffirm the idea that there's something wrong with Candle, but it's hardly a mystery why Cyrax can't get into a normal, healthy relationship. In any event, while we don't exactly know what's going on behind the scenes with Candle and him, he tries his best to play it cool for the rest of the month, telling the usual lies about having fans and being a professional drift racer in real life. Ultimately, his strategy of just letting the Candle situation burn itself out didn't work, because she made some kind of video about him called Chance Wilkins is Insane, which is unfortunately private and there's no way of accessing it. We only know of his existence because Cyrax made a post about it on Facebook saying, "I'm sitting here in tears because of this girl. She has done nothing but harass me, bully me, and spread rumors about me that are not true, and refuses to stop, and the police refuse to help." Well, there's no telling what she truly said. A comment left on the post by Eric Scrubbelow suggests that Candle has given out Chance's address and recommended people harass him in some fashion. The year 2019 starts out with an immediate welfare check, as reported by the police, though its details have been redacted and we don't know what's in them. However, they might be, and probably are, related to the havoc that was recently wreaked in Cyrax's life by Candle. On his Facebook, he initially expresses some relief, saying,
"Damn, I guess he really fucked with a crazy bitch." Jesus Christ.
"I want to say thank you to everyone. Because of all of you, Candle has been stopped and her posts and videos removed." Unbeknownst to his Facebook friends at the time, what was actually responsible for taking Candle's videos down about him was a deal he struck with her, in which neither would mention each other's name anymore online. Chance, thinking himself clever, did his usual routine of posting about a person while setting it up so that they wouldn't be able to see it. However, Candle had an alternate Facebook account she used specifically to check up on Cyrax's, and upon discovering he was still mentioning her and hadn't taken his post—
Damn, why not just fucking take the deal and run and go, dude? If it's that toxic, what are you doing? Asking for it at that point.
Down about her, she nonchalantly said, "Haha, still here. Not all the posts are taken down. He broke the deal." The same day, he makes another post about her, attaching a video she had just made accusing him of being obsessed with her, saying, "I give everyone full permission to go all out on this bitch. I held my end of our deal up and removed all videos and posts about her, and she pulls this crap?" The comment section in this post is riddled with Candle making fun of Cyrax and offering to show anyone interested the threatening voicemail he left for her. They actually have a recording of Candle listening to the voicemails.
"So you want to keep playing that game? I can't will have you arrested for harassment. So guess what? I ain't the one going to jail. The one that's going to jail is you. So keep running your mouth, you little bitch. Guarantee your ass is going to go to jail."
On January 7th, he makes yet another post about her, claiming she mentally and verbally abused him and traumatized him worse than any of his other exes. On the 9th, he posts about her again, which prompts her to make a video addressing him a day later. This time, we do have access to the video, which is still up on YouTube.
"Yo, this is your girl, Rebecca. This is a video to prove how bad of a stalker Chance is. He sat there and found out where I live. Not creepy at all. Not a stalker vibe at all. You're so stupid, kid. Leave me alone. I don't
I thought they were dating. I'm so fucking confused. Wouldn't that be why he, you know what? It doesn't matter.
like you. Never liked you. I was nice to you because I felt bad for you, and then I found out you're a liar.
Damn.
You just butthurt because I won't date you. Stop fucking harassing me, you nutcase."
Okay.
Her speech patterns are odd and sometimes even similar to that of Chance's, which has led some to speculate she herself is and always has been a troll. However,
maybe. I don't know. But, okay, it makes sense. So he friend-zoned her, or she friend-zoned him. Gotcha. Interesting story.
Judging from the nature of her online activity during this period, it seems she's quite serious about what she's saying. On the 11th, she makes another video deriding Chance and all his threats, with the added bonus that she gets.
I'm surprised the mom isn't more active in like in the stuff. Is there anything about his mom that's going on, or is that just kind of not in existence?
Her friend to say,
I want you to leave my girl alone. You're not a player. You was a dirty stalker. You not
These guys could all live in a group home together. What the fuck is happening?
a gangster just over here running your mouth and saying all kinds of crazy ass.
Damn.
You just leave her alone and give her. You ain't gonna have that or nothing.
Is this when he starts using slurs? Does he call this guy a slur? Is that what happens?
His response was to make a post explaining how to block her and that none of his friends should answer whatever she sends them. Regardless, she keeps on making uploads, claiming the Cyrax has tried to blackmail her and that
Is this? How many views of these videos?
friends should answer whatever she sends them. Regardless, she keeps on making up.
Who has access to these videos? Why are these? There's 9 likes on it. Like, why the fuck is this so lore intensive? This is insane.
Claiming the Cyrax has tried to blackmail her and that he's on psychiatric medications for various different issues, though these claims have not been verified. But it wouldn't be surprising. Breaking his own promise to no longer talk about her, he answers again, saying, "Y'all want to know why I've been making such a big deal about Candle and her BS? It's because she could end up costing me a very real
Did
shock."
we get to the point where the mom died in a house fire, or am I like fucking stupid? I didn't hear that part yet. I feel like I would have internalized that. Am I stupid as fuck? I feel like that wasn't covered yet. That's what I'm saying. When did she die in a house fire?
With the major non-profit label Reborn Records, who has been
Isn't his whole thing that he's raising his family or whatever, or taking care of his family, and his mom only can work 2 days a week, so he's becoming a big wig in the music industry to counteract that?
my work for some time now, and that's why I've been telling people to report her channel and her videos. This label could change everything for me that I've worked harder than anyone to get, so yeah, this isn't just a little issue. This is huge, and she needs to be stopped ASAP. Given how obsessively Cyrax has answered to every single person who has ever gone after him, this was just a convenient excuse for him to do what he would have done anyway. Case in point, one of the people in the music business he'd emailed with his garbage decided to take the time out of their day and explain to him why his music was unlistenable to any sort of record label. The issue is that your demos all use loops. I know you don't have a full setup right now, but I know loads of producers who can use all the music making software, and even if they don't have one, they use a Casio keyboard or a phone. You can create custom music on anything. The problem with loops is it's not your music, it's just choosing music. We need to see you grab a MIDI keyboard and put in those notes, make those beats on an MPC, or even just a cheap MIDI keyboard. We're a record label. We're not in the business of training people.
I don't know what the fuck any of that means. I'm assuming it just means, what is he, just grabbing like particular beats off the internet and then not adding to them? Is that how it is?
Recruiting people with potential.
Bro, Cyrax doesn't work? Yes, he does, dude. He's a fucking musician. He's a musician. He's a manga writer. He's a video game creator. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Are you listening to the video or what?
We were, but that would make our clients very unhappy. You need to understand it's my job to find the best of the best out there. Think of it like a sports team. Let's say you're recruiting for the top baseball team in the state. If I pick a guy that hasn't played in a while or isn't a pro level yet, he's going to be rusty and he's not going to be ready. We are not an education group, a school, or a charity. We are a record label that pays people up front for quality beats. We want top quality musicians who make their own stuff. Not rip it, not loop it, just create. Now, dude, don't take me the wrong way. I'm just trying to get you to understand that if you want to make it as a producer in this world, you're going to have to make your own beats. And maybe you can if it's true like you say, but I don't see that. All you've shown me is some loops and then some songs you've downloaded from other producers. Most labels would not give you the time I've given you to explain all of this. They would simply just shun you aside and tell you not to go. But no, I think you're a good dude. Whatever kind soul wrote this happened to be wrong on 2 counts. First off, he claimed not to be a charity, but this is probably the most charitable action anyone has ever bestowed to Cyrax so far. And secondly, he says
constructive criticism from an actual, this is an actual label, or this isn't just a troll? I mean, okay.
Cyrax is a good dude. Well, Cyrax attached a picture of this email to a post he made on Facebook.
Kind of basically random noise just going in loops. Free loops is a software, and basically there's pre-made loops that just loop over and over, and okay, instead of a ground up beat. Okay, so I got what you're saying. Gotcha. So the loop is the Turkey Tom video, and my commentary are the beats. Is that what we're saying?
Which read, "This is the kind of that pisses me off. They act all interested, then once I explain my situation, they pull this and kindly tell me to f*** off." Oddly enough, while the sheer effort in communicating the truth to Cyrax,
I feel like this never has happened to him before. No, they just tell me to fuck off. This guy did not need to waste his time explaining the ins and outs of this thing to him. He did a very nice thing for him.
in the nicest way possible wasn't enough to pierce the concrete wall between chance and reality. It was sufficient enough to get other people who saw the post to side with the person who sent the email. People pointed out that his answer was well put together and that he went out of his way to inform Cyrax, but even when all of his friends saw the man's point, Cyrax outright refused to. In a comment, he linked to some rant video he did that explained why what the guy said was unfair, and while the video has since been taken down and we can't watch it anymore, we can presume he did his usual rigmarole of saying that due to being born all kinds of quirked up, copyright laws shouldn't apply to him. One of his friends was particularly poignant when he said, "He's nicely trying to tell you that you are stealing music. If you make any money from that, you can be sued for copyright infringement, plagiarism, plagiarism, etc. Why would a record label pay you to do that? This very nice person is 100% right. No, I'm not watching your rant video. In another post a few days later, it turns out that the guy with whom Cyraxx had been exchanging emails, who happens to be a representative for a record label called Reborn Records, eventually caught wind of Cyraxx's little post and video complaining about the reply he got. Being rightfully upset that the kindness he extended was met with mockery, he decided to send him another email addressing it. By the way, bitching about it on Facebook won't get you anywhere. Seriously, man, I was trying to help you.
I'm confused. Why would this guy even respond back? I'm a little confused. Like, I mean, he's like part of a record label. Why does he care? I don't know, whatever.
But instead of facing up to a challenge, you just think everyone is against you. Rethink your process. Has this way of working really been working for you, or has it not? I suspect the latter. Stay humble, learn the tools, and maybe you'll get a shot. But going around thinking we owe you something for nothing, dude, we're a record label, not a charity. Your situation is that you don't have anything to show me that is original work. How can I hire you? Would you write in your CV that you worked at a big company, then at the interview say, oh, by the way, I didn't actually work at that company, but if you just give me a chance, nah, dude. Cyraxx reacted by making another post with the email attached, captioned, this just proves even more how messed up record labels can be these days. SMH, what happened to the days where labels used to actually care about the artist and not the money? He speaks as if sharing their communication.
I feel like, if anything, it used to be worse, no? And also, they gotta make money. Isn't that the whole point? The whole point is to make money, and you can't just do a fucking charity case. I mean, they can be nice to people, but if you're not good enough to make money on, the fuck?
Highlighted anything beyond his inability to be cooperative on even the most basic level, and his profound stupidity. Oh, and he also forgot to close the X videos tab he had opened while they took a screenshot of the email and couldn't be bothered to crop it, so...
What was he looking at? Anything good? Or what? Damn. Okay. Wait, what? Turning of Lamborghini. What is that? What else is he looking at? Summary of PayPal. Take a look at that. Take a look at that one.
Wouldn't be visible. In the comments, people began pointing out that Reborn's representative said nothing incorrect once again, and it seemed like it was finally getting...
Most artists steal now anyways. I don't know if that's true. I just feel like how many beats can you... Like, how many new beats can there be? Like, how many more new beats can it really exist? I feel like that's more of it, no? You think, or am I wrong about that? I don't know.
To Cyraxx. And I say seemed because it only seemed that way, and he made it very clear that he understood nothing of what that guy had said. In a reply to one of the comments, Chance said the following. Point is, they approached me wanting to sign me. I didn't approach them at all. And to be fair, I explained my situation fully, and yet what do? They slap me in the face like I'm some sort of joke. I don't own a computer, I own a Chromebook, which is like a PC, but can only run mobile-based apps and such. His excuse for not making original work being that he doesn't own a computer is not only a lie because he does have a computer, but it also makes no sense. As the representative pointed out, there are plenty of mobile apps that allow you to make custom music.
Well, none of that matters because we just saw... browser that looks like a regular browser. Wait, what?
Because he does have a computer, but it also makes no sense. As the representative pointed out, there are plenty of mobile apps that allow you to make custom music on your phone. Cyraxx actually even uses some of them. He just chooses to use the demo loops instead of making new patterns. When argued into a corner by his Facebook friends, he drops a new video on his page saying that Reborn Records is fake because they checked out his personal page. He also claims that unlike Reborn, his very own record...
I mean, it's not a bad argument. Like, why would they actually want to give this guy the time of day? You're fake because you took me too seriously. A little bit based.
Record label, Bloodshot, helps artists make money for themselves. A tall order considering he's one of the artists in Bloodshot and has no money whatsoever. This video is particularly difficult to watch because he's noticeably thirsty, but he refuses to drink a glass of water, which results in him gulping saliva amidst his speech.
It don't matter whether you build it from the ground up, like on FL Studios.
It seems that near the end, the dehydration and general lack of mental faculties start getting to him, as he briefly forgets he's already on his own label, and thus has no need to be signed to any, despite his incessant begging to be signed by one, and he seemingly on accident drops a hard R. Seeing that this strategy of trying to say things related to the actual topic is failing terribly, he returns to his usual tactic of...
Hey, I've been there before, brother. Accidentally dropping that. You know what I mean? Tough stuff.
Claiming he's being discriminated against due to people finding him hideous beyond comprehension. Then he threatens Reborn with diss tracks and claims he sleeps 5 hours a week, which, though an obvious lie, would explain a lot of his behavior since it's that degree of sleep deprivation that makes people hallucinate. Also, for the first time in a very long time, he acknowledges that he went back to jail in 2012, only to use it as an excuse for why he's unemployed, while neglecting to mention he choked out his elderly adoptive mother. His heyday with Reborn Records...
Did you actually go to jail for that? Wow. Cool.
Just cut short by the resurgence of Candle, who was threatening to show the label company the video she saved of Cyraxx attempting to blackmail her. We have no proof that Candle's words are backed up by anything, but it seems Cyraxx was pretty terrified of potentially being arrested, so maybe there's something to her claims. However, he ended up not being arrested because, according to him, he hid until the police left and proceeded to call for Sally. Without missing a beat, he converts the situation into another excuse as to why he isn't signed to her.
That makes sense. It's like Grand Theft Auto. Once you hide for long enough, they stop trying to pursue you. Yeah. I forgot about that very real rule. I forgot about that. I've totally forgot about that. Holy fuck.
Record label for doing songs with big artists. A day later, though, he's back to his grind. This time as a professional YouTube channel intro maker. Again, he's using freeware that an 8-year-old can operate that automatically makes these intros and tries to sell them off. As you can see, the name of the channel in the intro he made here is Nuclear Reactor. That also happens to be the name.
It's funny because I feel like he could make money on Fiverr for $5 for like really shitty beats. Because wasn't there a whole meme where someone's like, I paid a fucking 5-year-old $5 to make this beat. I mean, I would do it. Give me an intro, dude.
of the reaction channel he'd made at the time. Soon after, people began taking issue with his use of the N-word, which prompted Cyraxx to claim he was being victimized. He makes a post trying to—
I'm surprised he didn't just claim he's fucking black, man. Go for it.
Defend himself, but none of his friends side with him. Noticing that the tides had shifted radically against him, his reaction was to simply begin blocking anyone who expressed they disagreed with him, under the guise that it was to clear his account from any of Candle's minions. Cyraxx has a rough start to the month of February, with Sally calling the police over threats to Cyraxx from a female online, whom we can only presume is Candle. On the 6th, he makes a post calling out those who aren't willing to pay for his beats, saying, "You know what confuses me? All these artists say they want beats from me, and they're all willing to pay $10 for 10 solid beats to own flat out. Then when the time comes, they turn tail back out and run off. Like WTF? And y'all want—
It's probably just trolls pretending that they actually are interested.
Wonder why I can't make it as a producer. That's the reason, because too many mofos want to play games and try and take advantage of me. They don't respect music anymore, and how simple but dope-ass loop-style beats like I do evolved into what they are now. Sorry to say, but half you mainstream guys need to learn and do your music history and take a look at where music started with guys like Bach, Beethoven. Do your history, take the time—
Fuck is Bach Beethoven? Like the actual Beethoven? Did he really start with fucking fat Cyraxx beats? That's crazy.
Time to hone your craft the right way and stop half shit, or don't do it at all. Plain and simple. It seems that after the pressure created by Reborn—
The guy looks like the young Crypt Keeper. That's not nice. Come on. Fuck that.
Records' response, Cyraxx started admitting that everything he does relies on pre-made loops. However, in the comments, he can be seen still claiming that they're original and made from the ground up. Later on in the month, he claims to be retiring from music due to a few people who have been consistently trolling him on his YouTube videos comment sections. In a Donnie Darko-esque turn of events, on the night of the 25th of February, a tree in the neighboring area decides to troll Cyraxx's house by falling very close to it. Without hesitation—
Damn, I can't believe that fucking tree trolled him like that.
He uses this to start talking about how the tree could have easily killed him. After this close call, there's a period of irrelevant developments and 2 mostly redacted police reports coming from Cyraxx's house until mid to late March, when Candle comes back with new, even more scathing accusations.
Alright, this is a live video on Facebook. I got something to address to all those mothers out there. All you mothers out there that have young children, be warned of this guy named Chance Wilkins. He'll off on your children. Not only that, he'll sit there and off on video chat with
What the fuck?
them. He'll sit there and threaten to kill your children if they don't sleep with him. They will do whatever they can. He would literally hurt you. This man is
Is this real?
psychotic, dangerous. Women, be warned. His name is Chance Wilkins. If you want his link, it's right there on the description, whatever you want to call it.
Again, while we have no concrete confirmation as to what Candle's allegations pertain to, it seems that they, along with whatever she was sharing directly through Facebook messages, were sufficient enough to persuade 2 women who were particularly close to Cyraxx, being Becky, who once called in a welfare check on him, and Abby, who, as we learned from a video Cyraxx posted in June 2019, reunited with him in April, only to break up with him again over whatever the information was that Candle shared with her. While many have disputed Candle due to her strange mannerisms, it seems that she was one of the first people to be aware of Cyraxx's darker side and truly invested—
So is this like real that he fucking talks to actual kids, or is it just an allegation? Who names a kid a Candle? I don't know, probably fucking Michael Jackson. Did he name his kid Blinken? Yeah, of course.
And keeping it at bay. So much so that she called 2 welfare checks on Cyraxx's house, presumably to intimidate him with police presence. We even have audio of at least one of her welfare check calls she made.
What's his response to that? I mean, there's still another half hour of this documentary, so I mean, it could be possible. That's fucking crazy.
Hi, I'm calling about a welfare check that needs to be done.
Okay. And who are we checking on?
Chance Wilkins. He was just on YouTube a few moments ago threatening me and a few other of my friends, and I think he's going off his rocker, and I think he might be a danger to himself and others.
Within a month of the last welfare check, she called—
It's weird that she knows exactly what to say to get the police to go. That's a little interesting.
in. Based on what we can see on Chance's profile, it seems that word spread that Candle had taken her own life, and according to Cyraxx, unnamed people began blaming him for her passing. Later on, we discovered that she hadn't died at all, but regardless, the rumor was enough to stress Cyraxx out. The information about Candle having supposedly passed hit the juggalo-adjacent communities that Cyraxx has spent the better part of a decade sharing his music to, and that flipped a major switch. What kicked it off was when Cyraxx was invited to appear on a show called the Juggalo Drama Alert, where he was asked by the host, Fred the Boy Blue, to explain his situation with Candle, noticing how much of an—
Why is there such a prominent juggalo community on the internet? What the fuck is this? This is so bizarre to me.
Absolute character Cyraxx was.
Screenshots of him sexing minors. Oh, Jesus Christ. How old is he and how old are they? I guess we'll get there as time goes on, but...
The spread had him appear in multiple episodes right after, and this grew Chance's popularity exponentially. Whereas he had 1 or 2 trolls who intermittently impersonated him before, he was now attracting a group of troll followers who were dedicated. While still in their developmental stages, they would eventually become the co-stars of the reality show Cyraxx's life is about to be. Around the same time, though we don't have the exact date, he began dating Heather, but not the same Heather as before. With new Heather, at some point during 2019, he made a video about how cyberbullying and other kinds of abuse may lead—
Bro, I don't get it. But it is interesting. It is interesting. It's always overweight women and people with disabilities dating. You know, it's always guys that are a little bit off. Well, in this case, maybe more than that, but and overweight women that they're like, you know what, I'll be with this guy. And I feel like removing this situation from that equation, a lot of times the people with disabilities are really nice. They just want to date somebody. And so the big girl's like, of course, he treats me well. I know he's a little off, and one of his sides is looking at me. into my eyes while the other one's looking behind me, but you know what? I love this guy. And I think that there's something beautiful. I think there's something beautiful to that. So...
to doing something drastic. While we don't know the date this video went up, if it came out before Candle began role-playing as if she had passed away, there's a very good chance her faking her death was to make it seem like Cyrax had done exactly the thing he denounced and cyberbullied someone to the grave. For a while, the trolls did little besides sending outlandish threats of all sorts to Cyrax, even going as far as calling his home phone to inform him that they had planted a bomb in Sally's car, which Cyrax reported to the police, and once the car was checked out and no device was found in it, he made a video on his Facebook page mocking his trolls. Eventually, they evolved and realized that if they were going to get any quality lolcow content out of him, they would have to be working on the inside. One of the first to do it was by the name of Boogeyman, who began interacting directly with Cyrax, and even
not Boogeyman 2988, dude. That's fucked up. What are you doing, dude?
received a voice message from him explaining the candle situation. Around the same time, a juggalo act called the Bender Boys also got involved in trolling Cyrax in some unknown fashion, earning the ire of the Madman of Akron. While it gets increasingly difficult to find the exact dates and details for things from around this time, the closest I found was that a channel very tightly associated with the Bender Boys, called Brooklyn Menace, posted a video edit of Cyrax playing around with a samurai sword under the title Cyrax Shaolin. After a month or so of gratuitously terrorizing him, the more sophisticated trolls took a page out of the Daniel Larson textbook, deciding to pose as a record label interested in signing Cyrax. In late October, he posted a video about how he finally made it.
See, a lot of people don't realize it, but thanks to the haters over on YouTube on my new channel, I got some exposure, got hooked up with a major underground artist who just happens to be working with
major underground artist. I feel like those two words don't really lend themselves very well to each other, but okay.
some big names in the industry.
After years of struggling as an independent musician, he finally succeeds. And to follow this poetic note, it appears that the new Heather is spending some time at the Cyrax household, as we have footage of her from around this time, kissing Cyrax and fighting trolls alongside him. It is shocking to see that Heather physically chokes and coughs upon kissing what has been dubbed by the trolls the trench mouth. However, good times don't always last. I believe that October...
Is that real?
Upon kissing what has been dubbed by the trolls the trench mouth. However, good...
I wonder if that's actually why she coughed, or if that's Jesus, come on. Bro, why do you keep... Okay, sorry. These questions are wild. Papa Gut, actual question. Was there a specific moment you decided to stop saying the N-word, or was it just growing up? You know, I think, I don't know. It's a bad word, and I don't want it to be in my vocabulary. You know what I mean? I don't know if there's a specific moment. So, thanks for the question. What a weird question. I don't know. I don't think too much about, like, the origins of my usage of slurs, you know what I mean? I'm just like, yeah, those are probably not good to use anymore. You don't like this pause screen, dude? This is gonna be the fucking thumbnail now. Beautiful stuff. Maybe we'll do that. Fucking crazy.
Good times don't always last. I believe that October of 2019 is the most accurate time frame for the rise of Cyrax's arch nemesis and primary troll, the King of Akron, Music Biz Marty. From what is available online, we can deduce that Music Biz Marty approached Cyrax as someone interested in managing his merch shop, only to proceed to claim control over the merch store and play the role of a cartoonishly greedy corporate record label executive who tricked Cyrax into signing away the rights of all of his merchandise to the evil Ram Ranch Records. In a video from this period,
Stop, dude. This is so stupid. Jesus Christ.
Cyrax can be seen begging for Marty to stop what he's doing and pretending to cry while asking to be left alone.
You are degrading me. You're ruining my image as an artist, as a person. You are sick.
In order to play Cyrax for a fool more effectively, he creates a...
He sounds like he could be a wrestler, WWE wrestler. That's how good his acting is.
False dichotomy between Ram Ranch Records and Ben...
I stopped when iDubbbz apologized for Tanacon. Nah, I didn't stop that. I never stopped.
Bender Boys Records, which he was also indirectly in control of. It becomes very difficult to verify whether this manifestation of the Bender Boys has any direct relation to the previous one, and how exactly Cyrax's relationship with the Jugganati ended, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter that much. This period was rife with Cyrax's participations on the Juggalo show, including one where he appears to be freestyling a diss track on Marty, who is also in the call, while a juggalette and member of IP2 named Gucci's twerks to his bars. You could not make this up if you tried to. In early November, the setup concocted by Marty and the Bender Boys comes into play, as Cyrax is convinced he has successfully escaped the talons of Ram Ranch Records by joining the Bender Boys label. Despite this taking place only a couple of weeks after his supposed signing to Jugganati, after believing he joined the Bender Boys, he
looks pretty cool here. I think that he should just get little hair implants and I think he should really just try to... I think that this guy could make a lot of success out of getting a couple of hair transplants and just pretending to be Asmongold and streaming whatever Asmongold does. That's what he needs to do.
He delivered one of, if not the funniest moment during the entirety of the Cyrax story. To celebrate it, he posts a video wearing what looks to be an oversized pleather jacket and sunglasses, all of which is juxtaposed against the regular scenario of his insane asylum white-walled containment zone he calls a bedroom. He begins the video by drinking some kind of clearly non-alcoholic beige fluid, as if it were champagne, before proceeding to give shout-outs to any and every person he's ever interacted with, like he was receiving a Grammy. Another noticeable thing is the change in his affectation. He puts on a slightly New York accent with ebonics to go with it.
I figured I'd come in, celebrate, kick it, chill. Got a brand new dope track dropping with some of the homies.
Cyrax can also be seen visibly calculating the best
ebonics on it. Come on, stop.
Moments for him to take off his sunglasses dramatically, and he does it when he decides to talk about how the deal with BBR will help him take care of his kids. He obviously does not have, and I'm not even sure he's physiologically capable of having kids, and what he's referring to here—
Listen, I'm not trying to be rude, but we can only fucking hope, am I right? You know?
Are new Heather's kids, but we'll explain that part in a little bit. Eventually, he's joined on a stream by someone with whom he's planning to drop a song, and we later learn that dropping a song and music video was a part of his contract with BBR. The song comes out, and it sounds like you'd expect it to. And now, the
sounds kind of like the band Suicide Boys. Not bad. I guess.
Other shoe drops. Alleging that his single underperformed terribly, Bender Boys Records called Cyrax up to deliver some bad news.
Yo, Cyrax, I got an announcement to make. The video's not doing as well as we thought it was going to. Speaking with the team here at Bender Boys Records, they deemed you unmanageable.
How?
We had to sell your contract, man.
Wait, what the fuck? Are you serious right now?
We sold it this morning.
Are you fucking serious? I put in all
I hate this because it's not funny. But they fucking just trolled this guy into thinking that he got a fucking like all this was obviously planned from the start. You know what I mean? Damn.
that hard work for nothing? Are you serious right now? Bro, you're fucking stupid. I put in all that hard work for you and the crew for what?
Do you want to know who we sold it to?
I already know. Music. You already fucking come back.
As of that day onward, Cyrax and his music were the intellectual property of none other than music biz Marty, and things can only get worse from there. Due to Heather's very close involvement with Cyrax's online presence, she was often seen alongside him during his live streams, which was Cyrax's main vehicle of communication at this point. While it didn't look like she was very interested in Chance as a romantic partner, perhaps the attention he got online, even if negative, was her motive. And if it was attention she was after, she definitely got it. On November 22nd, one of Cyrax's anonymous trolls makes a phone call reporting that Chance was being mean and violent to Heather, taking her phone by force and refusing to give it back. The results of this call—
Hey, listen. Sometimes women deserve it. Am I right, fellas?
Been archived since the police showed up at the house during another one of the Juggalo congregations, prompting Cyrax to immediately tell Heather to follow him upstairs, also known as the Goblin Hideout, for whenever someone visits his house. The police were told that they were sleeping and that the call was a prank. However, 3 days later, that call prophetically came true, as on the 25th, another police report was filed, this time by someone named Mike. In it, Chance is described as hitting his girlfriend during a live stream on YouTube, but I haven't managed to find any video to—
Does he actually hit her? And would it actually hurt her? That's a real question. I don't know.
match that specific date. When the police arrived at the location, the two were spoken with and claimed there was no occurrence. Given the lack of hard evidence, we can presume that Chance did no such thing. I mean, just months before posting, he was posting videos to his Facebook about—
Listen, I'm still curious about the pedophile shit. Is it real, or is that like a fucking troll? Is there actually proof of that?
a man that lays his hands on a woman is a coward. There's no way he was projecting, right? Well, a day after, during a live stream Heather was a part of where she was talking to one of the people following the Cyrax story, Cyrax himself eventually intervenes and is seen attempting to yank the phone out of Heather's hand violently, which some saw as an overly aggressive— Cyrax himself eventually intervenes and is seen attempting to yank the phone out of Heather's hand violently, which some saw as an overly aggressive action. The same day, a troll once again made a call to Akron PD to report what had happened, and they conducted a welfare check.
I feel bad for the police. I constantly getting fucking called for this shit. It's crazy. I mean, the police are, they're putting in God's work here, huh? Jesus Christ.
Not only do we have what was on the police report, which claimed Heather was acknowledging Chance's abuse to the person she was live streaming with, we also have the phone call made by the troll.
Chance J. Wilkins, he's a 28 or 29-year-old man. He had struck his girlfriend, Heather Porter, who is currently pregnant.
Just 2 days later, the same person Heather was talking to on the live stream was investigating further into her lore and ended up interviewing Jessica, Heather's former wife. Man, things just get more and more complicated, don't they? It turns out that Heather left her wife with their 2 kids in order to link up with DJ Shadowblade. As 2020 approached, it became clear that any semblance of humanity the tale of Cyrax ever possessed was doomed to be extinguished by the relentless activity of malicious trolls and Cyrax himself, of course. All of his hobbies took the backseat as he began doing nothing but participating in live streams and endlessly interacting with people either pretending to be fans or explicitly insulting and mocking him to his face. In late December 2019, he can be seen boxing.
Papa, have you seen the video about the streamer Bofa? Oh, no. Who's Bofa? Who's the streamer Bofa? My mouth is watering over you letting me know about this particular streamer named Bofa. Can you give me a little more information about this, please? So I can educate myself on Bofa, dude? Holy fuck.
through Google Hangouts with someone named Suplex City Vlog, and it's exactly what it sounds like. January 2020 begins with Cyraxx claiming he's becoming a gamer once and for all, and considering his extensive use of the N-word, I think he's always been one. On the 4th, he loses a bet he made with
he's pretty close, dude. That's why they call him pro gamer words, dude. Hey, don't use pro gamer words. They're bad for the economy, okay?
fellow troll schmeckle.
Oh, dude, both of these nuts, dude. Oh, shit, you fucking got me, man. I never couldn't have ever possibly anticipated what you were just about to do to me, dude. You literally just fucking shoved your nuts in my mouth non-consensually. That is insane, dude. I'm calling the police.
He'd keep his cool against the trolls and not flip out for a week. Supposedly, losing this bet cost him $100, but I'm pretty sure Cyraxx has never even seen a $100 bill. In a video of his where he derides Jamie Nicole for her inquiries towards...
What about a $100 will? You ever see that before, dude? It's fucking crazy. Why the fuck can't I get a third one in here?
Cyraxx's abusive nature and Heather's past life, he can be heard calling Jugganauty Records Jugganazis, meaning he probably had a bad falling out with them, which is unsurprising since that name is closely associated with the Bender Boys. On the 12th, pictures of Cyraxx's dick leak via Discord. Initially, many thought they were fake, including CGC, who's responsible for some of the best archiving and documenting of Cyraxx's story.
Were they big, or? Because wouldn't that be terrible? This guy's already getting like girlfriends and shit, and we're not. All right, but you know what I mean. Imagine his dick was fucking bigger than yours, too. That would be horrific. That would be destructive. That's probably why they're like, this is not real, dude. It's not real. It can't be his fucking dick. It's bigger than mine, you know?
However, upon their reporting on Jamie Nicole's channel, a commenter, presumably
Windagoon allegations? What the fuck is that?
Heather, started saying he'd been hacked and was asleep when it happened. What was noteworthy about this is that it was neither a defense nor a denial, and given how often Cyraxx and his cohorts have used being hacked as an excuse for their behavior, it's most likely a lie as well. Not only was the picture his, it was probably acquired by a catfish who persuaded Cyraxx into cheating on Heather. After all, Heather and Cyraxx were living together at this time. I'm not sure what use a picture of his willy would have been to her, especially since it was clear that they were already not on very good terms.
I don't know. I send my wife dick pics all the time. I send her my fucking schmingle. She likes it. Usually she'll open it when she's in public, and then other people might see it, but I don't care. I don't give a fuck. What the fuck?
Hit me and I'll knock your lights out.
In the wake of the leak, Cyraxx says that he'll be...
I wonder if they're both abusive.
...be taking a step back from being online, but in a video from just a couple of days later, he qualifies it by saying he'll only take a step back from the streams, but will continue to be as online as ever on other fronts, because according to him, he comes from a family of artists and has art deep in his blood. Yep. This is cause for concern since there's...
Maybe they're artists, maybe they're... autists. I don't know. Who knows?
There's only one thing he has a family history of, and it's not art. Later on in the month, Heather and Cyraxx are back to streaming, and Heather has completely hijacked the transmission.
Okay, thank you, Papa. If no one told you about what Cyraxx's ability, he gave him unconsenting oral. Billy said it during the call at Marty. Okay, that's fucked up. Yeah, I just wanted to know the specifics of like what happened. It's fucked up.
Standing in the foreground while Cyraxx hovers around in the back, taking her commands. The two begin attacking Jamie Nicole for her coverage of the couple's mishaps, including, but not limited to, Cyraxx's pictures. And when Cyraxx calls her retarded, Heather starts telling him not to use that word and tells him to go take some stuff out so she can deal with it on her own. Then, while Heather starts accusing Jamie of not being a real juggalo, which is as scathing of an insult as they could come up with, Cyraxx comes in unsolicited and starts insulting Jamie for being a lesbian. This visibly irritates Heather since she was, at one point, in a relationship with a woman, as Jamie had revealed. Being unfazed by their milquetoast attacks, Jamie proceeds to report on and lambast the GoFundMe Cyraxx and Heather had set up, with the intent of raising money to take back Heather's kids from Jessica.
$4.99. This is my first time catching the stream. I heard you were racist.
Okay. Well, first of all, it says this is actually your first live stream donation, so that might be true, but I feel like I've seen you before. Second of all, stop. Why is this the new fucking meme? Call me racist, dude. Okay? Stop alleging this. Stop exposing me. Stop telling people.
I'm not sure in what situation Jessica was in, or if she was capable of taking care of two kids, but there's no way they would be better off in Cyraxx's house. Full stop. Either way, they would have just pocketed the GoFundMe money, since legally I'm pretty sure they couldn't get the kids, and a fundraiser page could do nothing about that. When Heather wasn't around to monopolize the camera, Cyraxx made his own diss video against Jamie, where he threatened to physically beat her. What an absolute class act, guys. After complaining about his private parts being posted online, having ruined his chances of ever getting a job or being signed to a label, two things that, keep in mind, had never happened up until this point.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like... Okay, whatever.
And he's challenged to a fist fight by one of his trolls, Juggalo John. The story goes that John did indeed go to Cyraxx's house, but Cyraxx, as he always does, hid in the attic until John went away, and when it was nighttime, he came out and had Heather record him acting tough in front of some swing sets.
What's up, John? I'm down here by the community center where LeBron James first got started, right there, boys. You're talking about something.
Did you just say where LeBron James just got started?
Down here by the community center where LeBron James first got started.
Incredible. Incredible. What a treasure trove of information. Incredible.
Right there, boy. You're talking about showing me up. Here I am ready for your ass. Your punk ass ain't show up.
I have another serious question, Papa Gut. When you met your wife, how did you know that she was the one, and how can I know when I feel like that? Also, did your small penis affect the feeling? Dude, stop! Why? I thought this was a nice question. I thought this was a nice question that you were asking me. Jesus Christ. Listen, when I met my wife, she was very beautiful. She looked better in person than on the photos. She wasn't a Decepticon. And no, my small penis didn't have a bad impact because I was still somehow the biggest that she was ever with. Okay? So why do you got to do that, dude? I don't know how you could tell the feeling. All right? Maybe don't be so freaking mean all the time, dude.
His next move is to try to take down music biz Marty and his merch store by claiming that he owns copyright on his work, which is very ironic considering that all the artwork is stolen, of course. A day after publicly defending her honor and saying that Heather is the greatest mother in the world, Heather calls the cops to report people threatening Cyraxx online. The modern Romeo and Juliet. A few days later, Cyraxx made a fake account on YouTube called Shadow King, and using a voice
Seems like his ride or die, man. That's his ride or die.
He starts pretending to be an impartial third party who happens to defend Cyraxx and Heather against the trolls. On another video from February, he reveals that Jessica has apparently charged Cyraxx with civil assault, though it's unsure what for. He uses this along
What is that, like kind assault? Like, oh, that was a very civil assault that you've done. Oh, very, of course, no problem.
with the trolls as an excuse as to why he's unemployed, blaming the trolls for your personal failures, another great lolcow classic. In order to exact justice for what had been done to him, he challenges Marty and his other trolls to step up to the mic and rap battle him. However, upon failing time and time again to defeat the trolls, he decides to step away from social media to focus on his artwork, and he claims it's somehow related to a book his great-grandmother released, making him realize he needs to focus more on being an artist. But, given what he had just said, following this video, he actually managed to spend exactly 1 month away from his social media. But it's more likely that Sally grounded him for a month with no access. On the 15th of March, he comes back guns blazing, accusing Jessica of being a kidnapper for not letting Heather and Cyraxx raise her 2 kids. After this, there's another long break from archive videos, probably due to another punitive measure from Sally, who is beginning to realize Cyraxx could get in some serious trouble for constantly making allegations like that online. After this, he only resurges in May to give his final farewell to YouTube due to the cyberbullying he's undergoing. He's now under the name of Scarface with an X in the middle, and is visibly inhabiting the basement. He also announces a new label, and the first thing he makes sure to establish is how he'll be taking 30% of his artist income, despite not being interested in establishing anything contractually with them.
I thought he said he didn't want to be an abusive person. Like I thought he was talking about how the industry was horrible. What the fuck is he gonna just become that part of that?
However, soon after, he basically admits that his entire family is telling him to stop being online, and he reiterates this 2 days later. But
very good advice, by the way.
Just 3 days later, he comes back, declaring he's now officially an e-racer because a retired professional motorcycle racer said he's really good at Forza Horizon. Another 3 days later, he comes back to tell everyone that his relationship with Heather was officially over. While he explains it in a way that's favorable to him, it's clear even through his retelling that he was threatening to hurt himself in a manipulative way. And when she didn't budge because she knew
How do you threaten to hurt yourself in a non-manipulative way, I wonder? It's a real question.
It was incapable of such a thing, he posted a video online crying about the incident, claiming that she's heartless. I should make a note here that he's just making a crying voice and turn the lights off so it would be less noticeable that he's not crying. Just a day later, he's back doing his usual gimmick.
Heather, Heather, Heather. When are you gonna learn, little girl, that calling you out on your bullshit...
Don't call her a little girl. It's fucking creepy, dude. Stop.
Like I did last...
Stop! There's no way that you're into children. Don't call her a little girl. That's weird.
Last night. That's not a threat.
Was having kids always on our mind when we go into the relationship? I think that you should probably talk to the person that you're on a date with, like, somewhat soon about whether you do or don't want to have kids. Like, not really a bad thing to ask in one of, like, the first 3 dates, you know? You don't have to, like, get super into it, but, like, if they don't want kids when you just start dating, like, obviously, you know, you want to establish that before anything gets crazy, you know?
I did not threaten you in any way, shape, or form.
Again, Cyraxx is the master of inadvertently telling on himself, and from the video, we can gather that Heather is alleging he's been threatening her. Maybe he noticed that trying to intimidate Heather with his WWE persona made him look bad, so the very same day he goes back to pretending to cry in the dark about the incident. Right after, he makes another video wherein he admits to having gotten physical with her at least once, meaning he is officially back to his domestic violence arc. In the immediate follow-up, we discover that Cyraxx is an MO. He tries to choke people out, and then when he gets in trouble for it, he claims he blacked out and did it while unconscious, which is apparently what he did to his grandmother in 2012.
I blacked out.
Yeah, I've been there. I mean, maybe he does have anger problems, but that's not like an excuse. So.
I didn't hurt you one time, and I didn't even fucking hurt you. I had my hand like this around you. It wasn't tight enough to choke you out either.
A day later, he posts this.
It appears to me that some of you think I lost.
Oh, stop with the fucking sounds. What the fuck is this?
It's my edge. Some of you think.
Who drama is this for? I don't know, man. There's people online who are just fucking. I guess I'm part of it at this point, but that are just like so fucking terminally online that they enjoy looking at stuff like this. But like I said, I guess here I am, so.
I became weak, and you guys were right. I did lose my edge, but guess what? I'm getting my edge back.
The glass shatters,
dark,
and here comes
evil
Stone
music
Cold.
that I used to record is coming back. And guess who my first victim's gonna be? Yam Ranch Records.
On the same day, an assault is reported, and Cyraxx goes
Is it even legal to use that? Legal to use the term Ram Ranch Records? I mean, isn't that like a song about gay dudes plugging each other in the fucking butt? The fuck?
quiet for a little over a month. The details of the report show that Cyraxx assaulted Heather's brother, Michael, by punching him 3 times as he helped her move out of his house. During the latter half of June, he's back to live streaming, and in a moment in which his mom is briefly seen on camera, Cyraxx covers the cam and attempts to complain about it, to which she responds with
There's the mom. We finally saw it. We finally saw the mom. That's what I was talking about. She's not dead yet in the lore.
Animus.
Well, that's just too flippin' bad.
On the 1st of July, he comes...
No! That's not a mom. That's literally Daniel Larson.
About it, to which she responds with a magnanimous...
Well, that's just too flippin' bad.
You could not convince me that that's not Daniel Larson. Are you fucking kidding me? No way. There's no way. Is there a soundbite of him saying that something's flipping? What the flip? There's no way.
The cam and attempts to complain about it, to which she responds with a magnanimous...
Well, that's just too flippin' bad.
On the 1st
it sounds just like him.
of July, he comes back again in a video titled New Look, New Attitude, New Knee, which I think was supposed to be me, probably, in which he says he's excited for the new year, despite being halfway into 2020. He's also wearing his grandmother's glasses to look more sophisticated. Then he drops a video to prove he doesn't actually steal beats, and in it, he plays the world's most horrid beat.
Take a listen to this shit.
Oh, there's something to take.
You hear that? You know what that sounds like? That sounds like hard work to me.
He then claims he's sitting on a potential multi-million-dollar contract with very serious record labels. On July 24th, he confirms what everyone already suspected. The GoFundMe they did, asking for $3,000 for court fees to get Heather's kids back, was being embezzled. While he neglects to mention what he might have used the money for, he shows that Heather bought $500 worth of wigs. 2 days later, he plays with a stick. Apparently, this is one of a long series of videos Cyraxx makes to prove that he can fight in order to intimidate Marty, with whom he's
I'm pretty fucking scared, so...
planning to have a fight.
So bring your ass on up here. Anybody that wants to fight me?
What the fuck is going on right now?
Bring your ass up here. I may be small, but believe me, I'm the last motherfucker that you want to box with.
Listen, I'm not trying to fuck around here or be rude, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you were actually a force to be reckoned with, then the people that you abused would actually be in pain. And just because they don't get hurt when he goes to abuse them doesn't mean that he's not abused. I'm just saying, like, I mean, if you can't even take someone out, how the fuck, you know? You can't even take your girlfriend out, or your mom out. All right, who's to say that you know? Listen, all I know is this guy belongs in like a group home. A group home. Maybe like he can live independently with somebody checking in on him 3 times a week or something. I don't know, but.
A few weeks later, he goes back to fake crying about people saying he steals music and acts as if him throwing a fit is fine because in his eyes, he's been very successful at keeping his emotions in. What is completely beyond my comprehension is that, judging from a video from this period, not only does he seemingly have a decent microphone, he also has yet another girlfriend, somehow. To add to the insanity, he starts complaining that the trolls are the reason he gave up all the gifts he would have gotten on his birthday.
Do you think that they make, they can, I don't know, he somehow convinces them that he's actually famous online? And they're like, oh my god, that's awesome. I want to date a famous guy. There's no other way. How does this happen?
So that his family...
Maybe his dick is huge. We never saw it. And Turkey Tom made no mention of how big it was, so I'm feeling like it's probably a fucking... He's got to be like a hog. And Turkey Tom's just embarrassed and doesn't want to show it because he feels self-conscious about it. That's the only explanation that I could possibly come up with.
He could pay for the hospital bills that Sally had to pay due to a surgery she'd recently underwent. To bring back a leafy classic, a 30-year-old fucking man complaining that the trolls are the reason why and not the fact he's unemployed and won't look for a job. A 30-year-old fucking man! On the 18th of September, he attempts to call a truce with the trolls. On the exact...
So bizarre that it actually sounds just like it.
Same day, he makes a video declaring war on all trolls for supposedly saying bad things about his military family. Mind you, at this point, he's already denounced his previous stepfather, who was in the military, for not being good enough to Sally. This is one of the clearest examples of Cyraxx going out of his way to keep his feud with the trolls going, because ultimately, he simply likes the attention he gets from it. Without them, he wouldn't be talking to anyone. It'd be the void like it was back in the day. A day later, he makes another upload titled, We're All F***s, where he attacks Joe Biden. After being put on his heels once again by the relentless troll campaigns against him, he goes back to pretending to cry and claiming that the trolls are responsible for Sally's blood pressure being high in a video titled, Seriously Considering Leaving YouTube. Throughout all of this, he could simply heed his mom's request and stop being...
I mean, maybe there's a level of truth that I don't know. I imagine trolls could make your blood pressure a little higher if you're constantly engaging with them in a healthy way. Actually acknowledging their existence instead of just not doing that. Fucking no.
Online, but that's too much to ask of him. After this, there's a period of relative inactivity until late October, when he reveals his stepfather, Ed, has overdosed. Besides also pretending to cry here, many have speculated that he just made this up, either to garner pity or to get out of a rap battle he had scheduled around the same time. Later on in November, he makes a phone call to Marty where he pretends to be possessed by a demon and threatens him.
Hey Marty, Why don't you go take that fucking gun, put it to your head, and pull the trigger, you fucking bitch?
He tries to sound like he's a demon and succeeds.
Say Marty or Morty? Is he pretending to? Is he? Maybe he's actually just voice acting. Could be the new Rick and Morty because Justin Roiland apparently was abusive to his wife before, and which is terrible, and he should go to face whatever consequences are required. But also, once he finishes, I think he was found innocent, but once he finishes the crime, does the time, bring him back. Because honestly, the new voice actors suck. I'm not trying to be an asshole. They kind of fucking suck, you know? Make him pay like 10%, holy fuck, 10% of his paycheck to like abuse of victims or something. There you go. The world will correct itself.
And sounding like he's drunk. A couple of weeks before another catfish attempt on Cyrax is successful, and he sends videos of himself cranking it to a fake girl named Jasmine, to the disappointment of his real-life then-girlfriend, Caitlin. Marty took this information to her, and apparently Cyrax had agreed
How the fuck is he gonna cheat, dude? Like, you know, I understand, listen, cheating is always bad. I understand why decent-looking, attractive guys, or, you know, guys with stuff going for them cheat. I get that. But you can't cheat looking like that. How the fuck? How does anyone understand? There's no way.
Take his account down and stop being online, so it was a surprise to her that he simply made another account and was uploading on there. After their 2-week-long relationship dissolved due to his cheating, and Cyrax attempting and failing to hire a hitman on Music Biz Marty, Caitlin gave an interview to Marty, and Cyrax dedicated a love song to Heather, trying to woo her into coming back to his arms. Having failed to take his life, Cyrax takes aim at Marty once again, giving him a final warning that if he doesn't delete his channel and stop this harassment, Cyrax will not hesitate to give the police evidence that would put Marty in jail for copyright infringement. After Caitlin and her family talked to Marty, informed
I don't even know if copyright infringement is something you can go to jail for. Like, I'm pretty sure that, what?
For consensus that Cyrax is insane, Cyrax makes a video claiming that it was Caitlin's idea to try and hire a hitman to kill him. On the same day, he makes
Can you even go to jail for copyright infringement? Can you go to jail? Oh, you can. Willful copyright infringement can also result in criminal. Oh, okay. Well, fuck me. Never mind.
Video declaring that he's finally lost his will to fight and is officially turned into a soulless demon while he whispers menacingly from the darkness. Still not over Heather a whole half a year after her departure, he does a video fake crying while saying she has his baby and is planning to put the child under custody of the state so that Cyrax won't have access to him. In a follow-up, his
I mean, if that's true, that would be for the best. I mean, I'm trying to be an asshole, but real.
way of addressing this very serious mental and emotional situation is to call Heather a dumb bitch for an hour and 15 minutes while he plays a racing game, which, by the way, is the only thing that can even be seen. He says that he called Heather about their supposed child and she denied it, but according to him, that's because she's a pathological...
What is he at fucking round one? What the fuck is he doing? What is he doing? Oh, no, that's the guy in the game racing. He's racing in first person? That's weird.
Liar, and not because he got tricked into believing this by trolls. Also, just as a side note to this situation, but it's very doubtful if they ever even came close to conceiving a child, considering Heather's reaction to the trench mouth. He mentions that Heather supposedly had Sally and Ed banned from her workplace, meaning Cyrax had his parents go and confront her instead of going himself. In a particularly creepy development, on the same day he records a video where he dedicates a freestyle to his unborn kid. After Marty says he knows where Heather is, Cyrax threatens to beat his ass and says he could do it whenever he wants to. On the very last day of 2020, he flips out after getting a bundle of rope in the mail. 2020.
You guys ever see that guy? I think it's Ike Barinholtz, maybe? Or maybe that's not his name. That's not Ike Barinholtz. That guy, though, from Mad TV, on talking to Joe Rogan, and the guy's like, yeah, people used to bully me. Now I'll beat the fuck out of him. I'll kill him. And Joe and the other guy there with him are like, dude, you would never do that. Like, you've been hanging out with people who let you get away with saying shit like that all the time. It's just not true. And it's like, that's the kind of friend. That's the kind of person that this guy needs, because he keeps telling people he'll beat the shit out of them. There's just no fucking way that he wouldn't get rocked. It's incredible.
21 begins with Cyrax doing what sounds to be an Irish accent for no comprehensible reason.
It's your boy, Albert, to do a little bit of practice on some F1 2020.
Despite a hyperactive start to 2021, the rest of January is relatively uneventful, with February bearing some concerning news. Not only are rats sighted in Cyrax's humble abode, but apparently his basement bed is suffering from a bed bug infestation, and it's severely affecting his health. This may be karma for the fact that
I want to, like, you know, clean your bed.
In his never-ending struggle against Music Biz Marty, Cyrax turned to the dark side and decided to invoke the power of a very malignant political party in order to defeat him.
You gonna do some Ramstein?
Oh my god! No!
After being catfished by a troll and confessing to his fantasy of eating a Snickers out of somebody's defecation station, he enters into a...
Hey, listen. There's nothing wrong with wanting to eat a little Snickers at someone's ass. Or does he mean actual poop out of your... Referring to legitimate poop out of a butt? That's interesting. But, you know... Everybody's got their everything as long as it's. I'm still waiting for the. I'm still waiting for the this guy. For the elaboration on the pedophile stuff.
a relationship with someone by the handle of Tangerine Cat, a long-term covert troll of Marty's. In the middle of February, he threatens to shoot Marty and another infamous troll of his, Schmeckle Cat, with his stepfather Ed's rifle, who definitely did not give permission for Cyraxx to use his gun to carry out a hit. Seeing that Cyraxx was approaching the 1,000 subs mark on his YouTube channel, he started a campaign for people to subscribe en masse with their troll alts. Then, when Cyraxx started celebrating, the next move was to unsubscribe en masse to see how he'd react. This was the result.
I did have 100. I did have 1K, but that little bitch ass nigga Marty it up.
Notwithstanding, also in February, Cyraxx gets Sally to call the cops to tell them he's being cyberbullied online, as if the cops could do anything.
1K was just enough to start monetizing too. I think he had 1,000, like 4,000 watch hours in the past year.
They can't. It's at this point that even the police, being familiar
Snickers is fine, but Snickers, I said, is fine, but not the Three Musketeers.
With the situation from the plethora of times they've already gone to their house for no good reason, start to show signs of being sick of dealing with Cyraxx. The report reads as follows. Cyberbullying on internet by Marty. Today they received a package with rope in it, and he has been telling caller's 30-year-old son to take his own life. There were no threats and nothing to report. He was advised that if he does not want comments on his internet live stream, to block or ignore them. Nothing I was told today was a crime, and he had no information about the other guy involved. On the 5th of March, during a live stream call with Marty, Tangerine Cat, and a fellow troll, Lava, Cyraxx is pushed to his breaking point and decides to destroy one of the gifts he received from Lava to upset her.
You're trying to interfere in my life, you fucking hey, Lava, I
Did you just call him the F slur, dude? So based. What the?
swear to God, if you don't stop, I swear to God, I will hunt you down and beat your fucking ass within an inch of your life. And that's not a joke. Hey, Lava.
We all know
Hey,
that.
Lava. You better be lucky I don't know where you live. Otherwise, you're have to be 6 feet under. And same with you, Marty. I know where you live.
Reminds me of the Creed song. I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking maybe 6 feet ain't so far down.
I know where you live, Marty, so don't test me. You need to go. And now I've had it. No, I've had it with you two interfering in my life.
This guy's gonna.
I'm trying to live a good life with my. No, shut up. I'm trying to live a good life with my fucking girlfriend, away from the trauma. But you don't want to let that happen. And I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. Matter of fact, hey, Lava, see this?
Oh shit.
No. How do you like that? How do you like that?
Apparently, during his tirade with the ocarina, he made holes in his walls that indefinitely continued to be visible whenever he recorded videos. But the bad news simply refused to stop coming. Marty breaks the story that Cyraxx has been taken to the hospital, and the doctors discovered he developed a fungal infection on his private parts. The cause of this might be the fact that he not only neglects to wash himself after he does the deed, but also does it multiple times a day, which results in chafing due to excess friction. I'm glad I can explain.
How the fuck do you jack off that much, dude? That's a fucking jack off machine. What the hell? Jesus Christ.
This to like however many people are watching this right now. Later on the same day, Cyraxx gets on Marty's stream to berate everyone for spreading the news about his sickly genitalia.
Hey guys, what the fuck is your deal?
Whoa!
No, shut the fuck up, motherfucker. Hey, Marty, let me tell you right now, you pussy ass little bitch ass nigga. You had no right doing what you did. None!
During the conversation about his medical issue, it's revealed that Cyraxx is unable to put the cream on and requires Sally to do it for him. This period is marked by some interesting police reports. After a welfare check, which informed the police that Cyraxx was threatening people online, he was advised to stay out of chat rooms. Then, the police were told about Cyraxx confessing to what he did to Billy, but no one answered when they showed up to his door. After a mostly redacted welfare check, Sally herself calls the police as Cyraxx and Ed are fighting due to Cyraxx being uncooperative. After this call is made, Cyraxx randomly shows up during another Marty stream, this time with his mouth visibly bleeding, as he screams at everybody.
Let me tell all three of you motherfuckers right now, because of you three, I almost took my fucking life a few minutes ago because of your bullshit bullying!
As it turns out, he'd recently gotten into a fight with his stepfather Ed, and unlike when he's online, being aggressive and acting tough had very dire consequences. Soon after, Ed leaves due to Cyraxx's antics.
What, did the stepdad beat the shit out of him or something? I mean, sometimes maybe you need a good ass kicking out.
But she blames on the trolls. After Tangerine Cat breaks up with him over him sending pictures of his wiener to multiple different fake girls, a new faux girlfriend comes forth by the name of Strawberry Sunshine, and Strawberry is taking no prisoners. Within a month of her work, she convinces Cyraxx to insert a stylus into himself. You'll have to take my word for this since I obviously can't show it on screen, or you can look for it yourself and be eternally cursed. The decision to leak the stylus incident was made based on the fact that, concomitantly with his relationship with Strawberry, Cyraxx had recently sent nudes to a catfish who pretended to be a mentally challenged transgender person by the name of Cindy Lou. In classic Cyraxx form, his strategy to get back into
from the Whoville? What?
Trolls is to start threatening to do something crazy. Hopefully that was clear enough to understand, but evidently Cyraxx was too scared to manipulate them with a real knife, so he just held a pen to his neck. And not just any pen, the accursed stylus. Props to whoever the girl is that played Strawberry for not laughing upon discovering it was just a pen. Just a day later, Cyraxx—
Bro, how do you not know? She doesn't even look trans. What the fuck?
Tries to do the pen routine yet again. On April 14th, he tries it yet again, culminating in Strawberry breaking up with him. 6 days later, a video comes out of our boy proudly sucking on that same stylus. As the shtick grows increasingly tiresome.
Okay, incredible stuff.
The trolls decide to up the ante. One of the troll outlets mentioned a while ago, Masshole Report, decides to play the part of a 14-year-old catfish to see if Cyraxx would bite. They presented—
Oh, dude, stop. Is this where it actually gets into him actually talking to fucking, well, I guess what he thinks as a kid? Damn. I still don't know how old he is, but he looks old enough to know. Damn.
Themselves as Crystal and claimed to be suffering from bullying, and Cyraxx responded. As they chatted back and forth, Crystal sent a picture of herself, an adult decoy by the way, to which Cyraxx responded with compliments. Soon after, he declares his love for her, followed by him—
see. How ugly am I? You're not. You're beautiful. Really? Oh, thank you. Okay. I have to do my homework.
an adult decoy by the way.
And full death makes some guy very lucky. Incredible.
To which Cyraxx responded with—
Is this guy funny or dangerous? I don't think easily either. I don't know if he's actually legitimately dangerous. He's still the creep so far.
Compliments. Soon after, he declares his love for her, followed by him claiming—
Smiles and kisses. I would love to be kissed. I have school tomorrow, but I don't want to go. How old are you, by the way? I just turned 30. Damn. But I look 14. LOL. Okay.
that despite being 30, he looks like he's also 14.
Might be true. Does it? Oh my god.
Immediately after, sends a picture of his disco stick. It seems like the catfish didn't plan to get the picture, so—
Bro, listen, I know it's inappropriate, but I'm convinced this guy has a huge fucking dick because nobody will talk about the size of it or how, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I feel like it's probably fucking huge, it's unfortunate. What a waste, you know?
So soon. I won't get into too much detail beyond this, but despite believing the person he's talking to is—
I'm all yours. By the way, I'll be 15 in May. Oh, well, that makes it so much better. I'm not too young at all. Wow, your cock is big. Oh my god. Definitely deranged, that's for fucking sure.
Fish didn't plan to get the picture so soon.
Of course I won't. Revenge porn is illegal. Does that convince him? Sending your dick to what you think is a minor is not illegal, but the revenge porn? Okay.
I won't get into too much detail beyond this, but despite believing the person he's talking to is 14 years old, he asks for indecent pictures
Should I take a picture of I'm assuming...
repeatedly over the course of their conversation. After some time, probably after he told Sally what he was up to and she told him how it could get him into trouble, he expresses regret and ghosts Crystal. It's likely that Cyraxx sussed out that this was going to make its way into Marty's hands, so his tactics became much more frantic and desperate. This was no fluke either, as during her investigation, Kate, the person running this operation, discovered that Cyraxx had done the same thing in 2014 when he would have been 24. In another instance, which was eventually revealed, he was briefly together with a 15-year-old named Chloe. In a cameo he made in one of Marty's streams soon after the Crystal incident, knowing that YouTube forbade any kind of nudity, he proceeded to flash the camera in an attempt to get Marty's account shut down. This is a tactic he came to employ multiple times after.
Oh, I mean, how do you complain about your dick pics getting leaked if you're doing that? What the fuck?
Few police reports about Cyraxx's online dealings with fake 14-year-olds, Sally called the cops over a fake picture of someone holding a firearm outside their house. To make everything even more cursed, Cyraxx's dad, now free from prison, discovers that his son is a horror cow and appears on one of Marty's streams. It seems going to jail didn't fix him, since by searching his new name, Oangus Ravenwood, a Pinterest shows up with categories like feminized soccer boys are easy to convince and boys in dresses, containing multiple images of young boys in drag. When asked about it by Marty and Schmeckel, he claimed it was for trans kid awareness. Meanwhile, after years of being in the dark side—
Oh, what? Is this the other guy from before that was like 40 fucking trying to molest a 4-year-old?
Feminized soccer boys are since by searching, discovers that his son is a horror from outside their house. To make everything even more cursed, Cyraxx's dad, now free from prison, discovers that his
is this a different guy?
son is a horror cow and appears on one of Marty's streams. It seems going to jail didn't fix him, since by searching his new name, Oangus Ravenwood, a Pinterest shows up with categories like feminized soccer boys are easy to convince and boys in dresses, containing multiple images of young boys in drag. When asked about it by Marty and Schmeckel, he claimed it was for trans kid awareness. Meanwhile, after years of being in the dark side, Cyraxx turns to Christianity to fix his situation.
Yes, of course, the ultimate fixer. There's nothing abusive going on in religion.
Posting a few spoken word poems playing the victim. I suppose due to loyalty to people of his same proclivities, he goes back to being friends with Chuck Stiegel and defends him from the accusations. Around this time, we can see that Cyraxx has begun to frequently scratch his head, which we eventually learn is due to the bedbugs biting him. In exchange for the return of his PayPal account, Marty strikes a deal with Cyraxx that the two would meet up in real life in order to square their differences. And upon showing up to Cyraxx's house, Cyraxx once again hides in the attic. After revealing during a spat with the troll that over the course of his entire career, he's made a total of just under $6 from his music, we get this.
Whoa, hey, more than I've ever made from music. Am I right?
Chance Wilkins. What does that name sound so suspiciously familiar? Maybe because your screen name is Cyraxx? What do you mean by Cyraxx?
Is this a cameo from fucking Mark Wahlberg?
Chance. Chris Hansen here of Hansen versus Predators. To catch a predator and have a seat with Chris Hansen, I'm going to need you to have a seat right over there. Been going through some transcripts and I see some disturbing things online. You don't want to be the target of one of my investigations, Chance.
He then gets together and engaged, apparently, to a trans woman named Trisha and begins defending her honor against trolls who are misgendering her. Cyraxx begins
beautiful stuff. Very nice.
Posting videos of himself training to fight Marty again, only to flake out a second time when Marty showed up, sending Ed and Sally down on his behalf instead. During the same stream, Cyraxx brings up a shooting that took place near his house in which a 13-year-old was injured and acts as if that event was actually the doing of Marty's goons who got the kid by mistake.
Yeah, I feel that. Sometimes when I'm gooning, I'll shoot something off in a direction, hit somebody, you know?
Okay, because of you and your little goons, a 13-year-old little boy died today, bro. I know those bullets were meant for me.
In January 2022,
damn, sad.
He audibly fights with Sally over his obsession with the internet in the background of one of his streams. It sounds like she's telling him to get a job while he claims that protecting his family is more important, before bringing up some acquaintances of his who are in the hospital as if it was relevant to the situation. In February, he joins the Dark Side Phil Club, forgetting his stream is on while he does the deed. Despite nothing being visible, I'll do you the favor of not playing the footage of it because you get to hear some audio, besides the stream of Heather he's watching to relive the good times while he cranks it. The aftermath is quite ominous. Due to another attempt.
What the fuck was that? Did he just say he's a sick fuck?
Due to another.
Is this guy actually possessed? What the fuck?
Another attempt from Cyraxx to stay away from the internet, Marty successfully draws him back out by pretending that Cyraxx has passed away and has been replaced by an AI, namely AI-Rax. Around the same time, another fake girlfriend by the name of Gothy becomes active, telling Cyraxx that he's losing money because of Marty and saying PBS would do a documentary on him. During mid to late April, Cyraxx's
PBS, okay.
house is raided by police and he greatly embellished it to make it seem like he was in way more danger than he actually was.
But little to our surprise did we know that there would be 10 cops outside with guns pointed at me.
Hey, just go ahead and stand up. Keep your hands.
I can't believe that they got Breonna Taylor, perfectly innocent person, but they didn't get this guy. Sad stuff, you know. Not that they should get this guy. I'm just saying.
In actuality, they just pointed a flashlight at him and asked him some questions. It wasn't a real raid. A month later,
yeah, probably because they know that he has a history of getting fucking, false calls onto him and stuff. So
he audibly poops himself on stream.
Oh shit, oh guys, it's storming out, gotta go.
Now, a lot of people are going to pass judgment.
What do you say? He's what?
Oh shit, oh guys, it's storming out, gotta go.
Now,
why did he even say whatever?
A lot of people are going to pass judgment, but can you blame him? It was storming out. In June, he posts a video fake.
Yeah, man, this the rain makes me scared. Sometimes I poop myself too.
Crying and playing victim, and in the same breath, he threatens to hurt people and potentially police officers as well.
So help me God, if you cops don't do something about this, I will. And trust me when I say, the end result isn't going to be pretty. People will get hurt.
He neglects to mention that the people going to his house are people he has time and time again invited over so that he could beat their ass. In October, Cyraxx's infamy.
That's the Boogie effect there, where Boogie will say like, "Come over my house, and I'm a tough guy," blah blah blah, and then they go over there and he gets scared that Frank Castle showed up, even though he again invited him to go there.
He grew to a
in fact, it taunted him into going there.
Point where Danny Brown, a pretty popular rapper, expresses not only his awareness of Cyraxx's story, but active interest in it as a follower.
Wasn't there another rapper that was like, "Yeah, I have all the Chris Chan Sonichu things"? What's up with? I'm not trying to be rude, but what's with black people and like in lolcows? I'm on to you guys.
Find like certain people on the internet to quit, and now we got this new guy. His name is Cyraxx. He's like he's a little touched, little guy. And he's from Ohio.
This ain't elite.
With him all the time. Like he was like live streaming. And we just all in his chat. He wants to be a rapper. He wants to be a. He always come up with something new. But I would say the funniest thing we did was that it got to the point like we put him so much he had to delete his accounts and shit. Like I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. And you know,
I just feel like it's. I just feel like it's not really funny. I mean, this guy's definitely deranged and needs to be like arrested and put in jail. But I don't really see the humor or the positive of just relentlessly trolling these people into just doing worse and worse things. But okay.
And he always come back in like a week or something and really geek, but one time he like I'm not doing this no more.
That's the same guy? Ah, okay.
I'll run in my life. I'm not coming back to YouTube. I'm not coming back. So then he left and he was gone for like a month. Then we all bored. We all in a Discord like, how can we get him back? Like, how can we get him back? So we came up with this plan to say he died. So we were just all making like tribute videos to him, like Cyraxx gone but not.
Like you're jacking off to him? Like tribute? Like cum tributes?
I forgot it. We miss you so much. We love you so much.
Approaching lolcow critical mass, the one and only Chris Chan, Liquid Chris, decides to chime into Cyraxx's story.
The main purpose of this video is to call out a certain troll who is trying to impersonate me. His name is Cyraxx, and I have gotten good word from my special gal pals.
I wouldn't know this was fake if Chris didn't transition. You know what I mean? Liquid Chris should have transitioned, frankly.
That's this imposter has been doing this for quite some time now. I even have a screenshot of a video someone made on him.
He's correct in defending his image and reputation because, indeed, Cyraxx is copying Chris Chan. Eventually, Chance's Facebook gets hacked, for real this time, and a video is uncovered in which he's seen licking his, I think we know. In December, Cyraxx seems to have gotten physical with Ed once again, and a little while later, claims he's developed stress-related eczema that caused his feet to swell up and eventually become a full-on leg infection.
Is that real? I'm not even gonna look it up. I don't care. What?
In early 2023, Cyraxx gets tricked into breaking his Xbox by inserting a contaminated USB stick into it, and then Marty convinces him to do a little dance in order to get his Xbox working again. Things start to look grim for Cyraxx.
It's a pretty good dance.
Who is now under threat of lawsuit from Danny Brown after accusing Danny multiple times of being a pedo. Perhaps
what? Wait, I missed a chapter. What?
Sensing he has very little to lose at this point, he goads Marty into coming.
Danny Brown is the rapper? What is happening? I mean, listen, I'm not... Holy fuck. Oh, give me it.
In order to get his Xbox working again. Things start to look grim for Cyraxx, who is now under threat of lawsuit from Danny Brown after accusing Danny multiple times of being a pedo. Perhaps sensing...
I mean, listen, from what I've seen from Cyraxx, he's not a very good person at all. He's definitely dangerous. Well, I don't know. He needs to be in fucking jail. That's all I have to say. But my thing is like, why you're actively fucking with like these lolcows, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna sue you for what? I mean, like, you're not exactly a positive contribution to the situation. I mean, you should leave these people alone. Yeah, it seems like if anything, the fame makes them more dangerous. I mean, Daniel Larson is an excellent cause of this. Without all the trolls, Daniel Larson would still be in a group home, under constant surveillance. But you know what I mean? So it's not really good. It's not really, you're not exactly positively contributing. Because you're having a negative contribution. That's what happens when you, like, fucking troll these lolcows. Just for the safety of others, non-lolcows, you should be like, okay, we shouldn't do this. Because those are the people that are potential victims. So.
Saying he has very little to lose at this point, he goads Marty into coming to Akron to fight him. And lo and behold, the fight does take place. Marty into coming to accusing Danny multiple times of being a pedo. Perhaps sensing he has very little to lose at this point, he goads Marty into coming to Akron to fight him, and lo and behold, the fight does take place. Despite this, immediately after getting beat up, he starts streaming, bragging about having at least showed up, demonstrating he was still as adamant as ever. Eventually, the two stream again, and Cyraxx tries to claim Marty almost murdered him while simultaneously trying to act unfazed. Afterwards, he tries to compete against Marty in a more familiar territory, racing.
Oh, racing games. He's a real racer.
Him and Marty go for 2 matches, with each winning one. However, it's discovered that Cyraxx was using auto race during his victory, but as a third match was being set...
The fuck is auto race?
Up to finally settle the score, Cyraxx goes missing in action. As 2023 progresses, Cyraxx begins dating and breaks up with another girl, Jasmine. Upon their separation, she talks to Marty and reveals that Cyraxx likes to pop bed bugs and sniff them, allows mice to live in his room, and lets roaches crawl on his plate as he eats. Months later, Cyraxx reveals the Wilkinses are potentially faced with eviction and need money in order to keep their house. Then a troll visits Cyraxx and proceeds to get assaulted by...
I think that fucking house probably needs to be condemned at this point.
...by him with a bat. He gets arrested for it, but is soon bonded out, and that pretty much brings us to the present. How the tale of Cyraxx will unfold next is truly unknowable, but it's hard to believe it'll get better anytime soon. Unless he gets seriously institutionalized, we can expect more of the same for the rest of his days on this earth. As much as Cyraxx never wins any exchange against his trolls, there's also no winning against him, and the struggle is in his favor because ultimately he doesn't even care about winning. I don't know if he can comprehend what winning is. Chance himself loves the attention, and he's in it for the long haul, even if it means growling at his computer monitor at people he's never going to see in real life forever until the end of time. He'll do it. I've been Turkey Tom. Thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.
We need to...
Okay, I don't think I'm ever gonna look at Cyraxx content ever again. This is fucking insane. You know, typical lolcow bullshit. Not a particularly good person, but the trolling and bullying network is probably not very good, especially for people around him that could get hurt. I guess it is what it is. Frankly, he's probably going to pass away soon due to infection if he's really got roaches and fucking bedbugs biting him all the time. So, yeah. Cool beans.